Today's show is brought to you by Lovable. Here we go.
Today's broadcast is going to be something special. We're no longer in Oslo. We're packing up, moving over. We are now in Stockholm, Sweden, and not just Stockholm, guys. We're in the middle of the city in the new headquarters of Lovable, our presenting partner. And we brought Magnus with us. This is going to be a spectacular Title Tuesday. Sit back, buckle up, and get ready for a great day of chess.
Looks like Farouche is almost getting it done on the board. Should still be a draw. He's losing now suddenly.
He's throwing a thorn into the white side, holding on here for dear life. The nerves are kicking in.
He's playing with Ghost, afraid to commit.
Did he lose on time?
The clock is his worst enemy right now.
Oh, look at this. He's trapped his own king in the corner. The black rook is hit as well.
Whoa, is this a blunder?
Checkmate is coming.
And welcome to what is a different broadcast here from this Title Tuesday. I'm excited, guys, because I'm a bit of a self-proclaimed nerd, and to be among one of the biggest AI growers in the world right now, it's exciting. We're at Lovable Studios here in Stockholm. I'm with Isak Sunderman. I'm with David Howell. We're ready to take you through yet another Title Tuesday. But just to talk a little bit about where we're at, Lovable. I mean, a presenting partner with chess. You, Isak, you're an AI engineer here. Can you tell me a little bit about what you guys actually do?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're a platform that allows anyone to build software, so web apps, websites, just by describing them in plain English. So if you have an idea, an app idea, you can just describe it in plain English, and then Lovable builds it out for you. And we use AI to do that. So it's basically ChatGPT, but for building apps.
And it actually works well. I mean, this is not a fantasy concept, is it?
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I mean, we have thousands of users. We're one of the fastest growing companies, and it does work. It does work. But sometimes it takes longer to build more complex things. So there is a bit of a learning curve for some of the projects that you build with Lovable.
But we've also been really thankful because you guys are a main sponsor of Title Tuesday. You've really been collaborating with us at Take. But how's your chess game?
It's okay. I don't know much of the theory behind the. Like, I know how to play chess. I play chess online and in real life, but I'm not that deep into the theory. So, it's not great, but it's okay. Maybe.
I think he's being modest.
Yeah, I believe so too. I was going to ask you, David, what's your take on app development?
I mean, I barely know how to turn on a computer, let alone anything else. So Lovable for me is a godsend if I ever do want to create an app. But I mean, first of all, I just want to say how cool it is to be here. Stockholm, very close to my heart. I actually became a grandmaster in Stockholm 19 years ago. So it's good to be back. And
this obviously is going to be a good day for you because you have good memories, right?
Exactly, fond memories. And Tuesday, my favorite day of the week.
I have a cool idea. Or actually, we've been trying to figure out how to show the viewers how this Lovable app really works. So we're going to have a bit of a challenge for you guys. We're going to try to have you write in chat the best idea for what app we should make while we are on this Title Tuesday broadcast. So if you can write it in, either if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching anywhere else, we're going to be monitoring all the chats. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the best idea. We're going to give it to Isak. Isak will then have about 45 minutes to create this app that we think is a good idea. But I just got to ask you, what is something that the viewers should know for how you could make the best app? What kind of ideas should they have?
Okay, I would say that the idea should be something people can easily understand, and it should be useful. Or, yeah, I think those would be some of the things I would be looking for. Usefulness, I mean, you could also make a fun app. Sometimes they do well on the market. But I would look for apps which are easy to understand. You understand the use case of them, and And I would also look for apps where you don't need any external data. I mean, sometimes when you're building an app, it's based on data that you have to gather yourself. So maybe if you're building an app that tells you where the best or the cheapest McDonald's burgers are at, then you would have to gather that data yourself, and maybe that's hidden, maybe that's not available. Yeah. So if we're building an app, we need to make sure that the data is available to build the app. But there are various data, like APIs, you can gather that data from. So I would say don't feel too constrained when giving these ideas. I will evaluate them as they stream through the chat. So.
The nice thing is that we actually have a lot of data when it comes to the Title Tuesday here, David. So what we did is, prior to broadcast today, we decided to build a database with the Lovable app, just to get a bit of a feel, and this is how we can see it. This is from Gameweek 2, last week. We see the amount of players, we see the winners, the score, we see what was the biggest upside Verbitsky when he beat Move Ahead.
Yeah, we saw 1,700 games last week. We've filtered them through into how they were decided. Just around 10% draw rate there, just over. Lots of checkmates, resignations, long games. These are just stats that would take us hours to track down, but with Lovable, we've done it in minutes.
Actually, that usually takes hours for you to track down, but hey, it means that you may have some time before broadcast as well, David. But we also went into player profiles here, and let's take a look at Magnus, for example, because he's obviously the one who's been performing the best in this Title Tuesday format. We can see he had a high Blitz rating. This is quite obvious, but here's the game week performance. Everything ranging from 9 points to 10.5, or actually to 11, the full score. You see that he's won quite equally with the different colors. And it's just a lot of good information that comes through, and that you can put together quickly, as opposed to having to search for a long, long time.
Exactly. Fascinating for fans, useful to do research on future opponents. Magnus, we saw he never gets checkmated. I think his pride forces him to resign before that, but you see the openings he's played, and your favorite segment here.
I love this, because here I was trying to come up with so many theories why he's performing worse in round 7 and round 9 than the others. What's your take on that, David?
Oh, it's difficult. Obviously, things get more tricky. The opposition gets tougher the further you go into a tournament. The break is after round 8, so maybe it's just due to the fact that he needs to warm up again after that.
Let's take a look at the map and see where players are playing from today, because we're now located in Stockholm, which means that Magnus is also here in Stockholm. We have the 2 youngest players ever, Mani and Protopopescu, who are in France and India, but they are 9 years old. But we also have the oldest player in Brazil, Shemin, 79 actually.
Wow, I can only hope that I'm playing chess with so much energy when I'm 79 years old. Fantastic to see these players challenging themselves against the best here at Title Tuesday.
But we do know that Magnus is in the house here in Stockholm, and we've given him quite a challenge, because also from Stockholm we have Anna Kramling. She's coming into the studio later. She's known for a famous opening, not the best opening, but we put it on the poll of which opening Magnus has to play today. And I'm sorry, Magnus. I mean, people do not wish well upon you, because the cow opening, David Howell, that is not what you want to play.
Exactly. This is a binding contract. Magnus will be forced to play this opening. He's probably going to try and get it out of the way in round 1, when the opposition isn't at its toughest. This opening, the cow, doesn't take control of the center, invites the opponent's pawns to push forward. So Magnus is going to play a very provocative, slightly dubious opening. Sorry, Anna.
We're going to get Anna in studio later, just so she can give her analysis of how Magnus played that cow opening, unless he decides to play it against one of the big guns later. But let's see who those big guns may be and who's signing up for the tournament right now and who is coming up. Actually, before that, let's look at the standings for Split 2 so far, because we've only played 2 tournaments, but Magnus was gone in South Africa last week playing the freestyle chess tournament. That gave Sam Sevian a chance to jump ahead in the standings, and hey, that's an early lead. He's looking to maintain that lead from Magnus today.
Exactly. The young American Grandmaster doing extremely well last week. We see lots of younger players. Hikaru, of course, has had a busy time lately. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, this scoreboard is very much open now. And it's a sign that everyone should be trying their best to gain those points.
Who do you think we should watch out for today, David?
Oh, let's jump in. I've named 3 players. I've picked 3 players that we'll be focusing on this week. Of course, Magnus Carlsen. He's literally playing meters away from us today. He's got a 98 overall. That was based on the previous split. He even scored 11 out of 11 one week. Perfection. And he's going to be the favorite here. Moving on. Hikaru Nakamura. He's actually in India playing the Global Chess League right now, but he did lose his game earlier. Maybe he'll be joining Title Tuesday. We're hoping that he jumps in to try and play more chess, try and get a bit of revenge. And last but not least, Sam Sevian, the winner last week, of course. I've given him an 86. That's based on the fact he is super strong, a fantastic grandmaster, but maybe a bit less consistent than the likes of Hikaru and Magnus.
This is going to be fun, guys. Get ready for Titled Tuesday.
Wow.
What a shocking result here. He beats Hikaru Nakamura.
Oh, yeah, he's upset. You can see it.
Oh, that's heartbreak. Will we see one?
Oh, blunder. Bortnik is absolutely in form right now.
But Nepo has blundered. Hans Niemann catching him in a nasty trick. Hans Niemann flexing because he's landed a fork, hitting the queen, hitting the rook. That is game over. The black clock goes red. Suddenly Fabiano head and hands. He knows he's blundered. The black king, the white knight drops even, and there we go. And Fabiano wins with one piece remaining.
Oh my god. Oh, bro.
Rook takes pawn. Rook takes pawn, wins the game because there's a knight fork.
A little bit too weak. A little bit too slow.
And all blunder from Hans Niemann. We do see Rook takes knight now is available due to a pin.
It's going to be a lot of fun today, David. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's always fun, Title Tuesday. It always has some twists, some turns, some shock results. And yeah, I'm fascinated to see who rises above the rest this week.
I'll tell you guys the format. For those who haven't watched these Title Tuesday broadcasts, for you also, Isaac, what we're playing here is a new format this season in Title Tuesday. It's 5 minutes on the clock for each player. They get 0 incremental time. So for each move they make, they stay with the time they had before. That is different than how it's been in the past, where they have gotten incremental time. That means that time management is extremely important, because if you fall behind on the clock early, David, there's no coming back.
Exactly. The clock is a weapon. No matter how hopeless the position might look on the board, you can still try to win on time. And we've seen that on multiple occasions this season. Some ruthless flagging, the players going just for the clock alone. And yeah, the top players, they keep a bit of time in the bank.
They play 11 rounds where the top players face each other, the lower ranked players face each other after they have scored wins and losses. You get 10 points if you win this Tuesday. You get 7 points for a second place. It goes all the way down to 8th to 10th place that gets 1 point, which then goes on to create what we call the Champions Chess Tour. That used to be an event by itself. Now it is the actual standings. And those standings lead up to one of the highlights of 2026, which is the EWC, the Esports World Cup.
Yeah, and that was such an incredible event in 2025, one of the highlights of the year. Magnus there went on to triumph against Alireza Firouzja, silencing the doubters. It was just fantastic, seeing the esports teams, the arena, the live fans, and that's what they're all playing for again next season.
And I also have good news for everyone watching at home. Magnus will be streaming today. He's in the streaming room behind us. Actually, this is Magnus right now getting ready for playing here at the Lovable headquarters in Stockholm. He's already busy chatting. I do believe that's his stream that has started already.
Yeah, he's in good spirits. I talked to him just before we started, just before we went live. He seems relaxed despite traveling the world recently. He was in South Africa for the freestyle event, jetting across continents just to play Title Tuesday here with us.
Isaac, I know that your relationship to chess isn't the strongest, but what's your take on Magnus Carlsen? I mean, how does that name resonate in your world?
Yeah, I mean, he's the best chess player, right? And I think if you become the best at anything, there are certain attributes which you share across other masters. And I think it's really interesting to look at people who have reached that top in a given field. And I think even we at Lovable have stuff to learn from masters in chess and in other niches. So I think it's really interesting to analyze them, character traits, how they approach life. Philosophy in general. It's really interesting.
It does strike me. There is a synergy between the tech world and chess. I mean, I also find that probably some of the more chess interested people out there are the tech moguls of Silicon Valley and those who's created. I mean, it must be some of the same way of using your mind to create.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think. Yeah, I've also heard a lot of people in Silicon Valley play a lot of chess, and a lot of chess people end up building companies. And yeah, I think there is some synergy there. And I think, yeah, I wonder how much it has to do with the actions you take while playing chess, if there are cognitive things which you're developing or already developed that are functional in building companies, or if it's more the philosophy itself of reaching the pinnacle of something. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe both.
I don't think we're going to find the answer right now. I do think you're onto something here, Isaac. But right now, let's get ready for game week 3. We can see who's signed up. It's Hikaru, Magnus, we have Nihal, Lazovic, Artemiev, Movahead, Magsudlu. A lot of great players present here. But let's look at the matchups where we have a beginning match of Magnus against Yesen.
Yeah, that's very exciting. An Irish player here, an Irish international. We see Magnus starting with the black pieces, and already it's a great move because it's the cow opening incoming. Magnus is about to bring his knight out, and from there he's going to jump further, and symmetry will be created. The cow opening, Anna Kramling, I can hear her smiling almost from behind us, and he's smiling too, Magnus.
We can also see Magnus smiling. Let's hear.
I know that this is not the cow. It's just it goes against everything that I stand for. Sorry.
So almost the cow.
Almost. He was so close. He teased the cow opening, which would have ended with this knight on this dark square to mimic the other knight's path. But it's as if he just chickened out somehow. What happened there, Magnus?
Are we going to give him a pass on this?
No, no forgiveness. He still owes us the cow opening. He said it goes against everything he believes in. He's got a very solid position instead, with a stronghold at least in the black center. But yeah, slight disappointment there, I think, from all the fans.
What can we take from the opening here, David?
Yeah, it's Magnus trying to be solid. We see on the evaluation bar just above the board, just above the players' cameras, that much better for white is the computer's judgment. Of course, we trust the computer to some extent. Here, I think we probably take it with a bit of a pinch of salt, because it's still early in the game. Nothing dramatic's happened. All 32 pieces still on this board. But this is a golden opportunity for Steven Jessel, who I don't think has had the chance to play the likes of Magnus before. He's done everything right. Note how the white bishops are on the longest possible diagonals. And if those open up, it's definitely going to be white in charge. Magnus trying to keep the position closed.
However, it's interesting to see how long we can have white in advantage here. Just for you, Isaac, who hasn't watched as many Title Tuesdays. I mean, in the first rounds, the top players will play the lower rated talents for the opening matches, and we have seen this quite often, that Magnus falls behind on the evaluation bar because he does give himself, we can call it dubious openings, can't we?
Yes, he likes to challenge himself. I think we all do in life, right? If things are too easy, they can be boring. So Magnus always trying to conquer, open up new frontiers. And there we go. He pushes his pawn forward, hitting one knight. Notice there's a pin on the other knight, which meant that white couldn't leap forward. And there we suddenly see, for the first time in this game, Magnus has the advantage, slightly better. He's got my favorite pawn structure, the Connect 4. Super strong center now, and Magnus turning the magic on.
So with a semi-cow, you can still get a pretty decent pawn structure.
Exactly, but not if you go full cow. And there we see Magnus retreating the queen, but more importantly, he's clamped down, he's got space, and he looks in good shape. We talked about the clock being a weapon. He's 1 full minute up.
Remember, no extra time given to the players with this format, 5 minutes plus no increments. It's 1 minute ahead for Magnus, and the Irishman is trying to find some way into this game.
Yeah, I'm not sure he's going to find it, though, by retreating his pieces. The white bishop's just gone back to its starting square. And yeah, although he's connected 4 pawns here, they aren't really achieving much because the black king is super safe on the other side of the board. And look at the power of the minor pieces, the bishops, the knights. The coordination is fantastic. There we see pushing forward now on the other side of the board.
While we're waiting for the moves here, are you seeing any good app ideas so far, Isaac?
Let me...
Well, you can look at that later.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just if you had looked at it at all.
Yeah,
trust me, we're going to put it in quite we're probably going to feed you too many of those throughout the day here, but we see Magnus 1.5 minutes ahead.
Yeah, and the first pieces have been traded off after a long, long time. We've now seen 20 moves, but only one set of trades. That was the dark squared bishops leaving the board. On paper, that should favor white. The pawns are all on dark squares, so parting with the dark squared bishop isn't the worst thing in the world. But Magnus now, he's moving towards the right side of the board, and his pieces are jumping into the white camp. He's even pushing pawns forward near his own king. And he can do that because the white queen is so far away from anything. She's offside, she's not contributing to the battle. And that's a very classy move, taking away a jumping square for the white knight.
If you were a lower rated player trying to take on Magnus round 1 of a Title 2 stage, do you think that you have to stay, if not ahead, at least on par on the clock? Or is that giving up any chance by falling behind on the clock?
Yeah, I would say it reduces your chances by half. I mean, already the chances of winning against Magnus are single digits. But yeah, if you're behind on the clock as well, especially this drastic, 23 moves in, and he's spent the majority of his time already. It's almost hopeless. You need at least a couple of minutes to navigate the complications ahead to get into an end game against Magnus and survive. We see the evaluation bar changing. That's because black now has a very strong move to pin the white knight to its rook. But yeah, I think the clock situation just makes things even worse, amplifies the problems. Magnus now opening up the flank, and look at the white king. So vulnerable, so open on this line. Magnus isn't really going to have to work here. He's just going to have to open up lines, and the attack should play itself. White knights are so poorly placed. It's as if now his opponent is trying to play the cow opening, except those knights can't really jump forward.
I mean, it's pretty close. You're only missing a pawn there, and you're onto it.
Yeah, just need to get this pawn out of the way, then the white knights can start jumping. Maybe he has to try that. There we go. He's trying to play the cow now with white, Steven Jessel, but a pawn down. The check's coming, the king on a vulnerable line. This does not look great. And Magnus now, this is what the top players do. They invest their time only when they know they've got the advantage and when they know the critical stages are incoming.
45 seconds left, and it's a terrible position also for Jessel. And right now it's looking quite hopeless. It does seem as though we might get a quite comfortable win in round 1 for Magnus.
Yeah, it's looking good. He's trading off knights now. He's simplifying the maths equation. He's doubling up his rooks. If he needs to, Magnus can just trade off everything, and he's a full pawn up. But he wants more. He's a greedy guy, Magnus Carlsen, and he wants this pawn as well. Once the rooks disappear, that will be defenseless. The black queen can slide and double down on the attack. The base of the pawn chain is collapsing. White has got some activity. That's the first forward move that Steven Jessel has played since I can remember, since this game began. There is a threat against a pawn, but Magnus just defends it with his king very calmly. He might even offer to trade off those queens. Nope, keeps them on. And he knows that he's got this one in the bank now. 20 seconds for white. It's just not enough. Look how many pieces there are on the board. Check. Will be blocked by a black pawn. There we go. And I wouldn't be shocked to see the first result ticking in. You can see on Magnus, he's not even talking now, just waiting for the inevitable result.
Magnus is streaming from right behind us here in the Lovable headquarters in Stockholm. It's less than 5 seconds left. There's not even a move come in, so it seems like that was the end of things for the Irishman, who... Do you get happy or frustrated when you draw Magnus Carlsen in the first round of these tournaments?
I think the most successful players against Magnus are actually happy to play him. I haven't seen one smile from the Irishman in that game, probably because the position was tough. But yeah, you have to enjoy playing Magnus in order to have any chance of taking him down. But a huge upset on the cards.
Wow, it's massively better here for Bulgak against Arjun Erigaise.
Yeah, nice to see Arjun playing first of all, but he might regret entering this event because he's in huge trouble simply attacking the knight. A double pin on the black knight there would likely end the game. First he's going after some pawns, the young candidate master. And once that pawn disappears, black is in an eternal pin. He gets out of it now, but the black king is so bad. This is... well, surely going to be an easy win for white now. He just needs to get the rooks off.
You can't underestimate these 12-year-olds, can you?
Oh, 12 years old. Not quite the youngest in this tournament, but that is phenomenal. And Arjun, the clock isn't even on his side. That is the downside for him right now. He's down a rook for knight, and he's down a pawn for black. So there we see his young opponent arise, and I would be scared too, seeing that in front of me.
But this is actually, look at the frustration from Arjun here. He is not happy right now.
No, it's been a tough time for Arjun. He played in the freestyle tournament in South Africa, jetted off to India, now playing Tino Tuesday. I love the fact he's going for the chess, but watch out, checkmate. He has to defend it. And there we go, the rooks are off the board. That should remove any risk of blunders. And I'm getting Harry Potter vibes, I've got to say. This is magic, this result that's about to tick in. He's so close now to victory. All he needs to do is trade off his rook for the knight, or just force through one of the white pawns to make a new queen, and this is game over. 27 seconds should be enough. We're getting close though. Oh, he's starting to bite his fingernails. He's feeling the nerves, playing one of the world's top 10, the youngster. Can he get the best result of his career so far?
Do you think he's too young to really feel as much nerves as he should be feeling right now?
Oh, age often helps. Fearless by nature, these youngsters. But when the clocks are ticking down, he's only human. He's got to think, okay, it's not done yet. Arjun keeps surviving. 18 seconds. It's suddenly hanging in the balance. He's getting his king forward. Take the knight, take the knight. Oh, he keeps the knight on the board. Okay, he cannot lose. Even if he runs out of time now, Bulgak cannot lose because black only has a knight. That is not enough material left to deliver checkmate. The black knight is so tricky though, keeps jumping with some checks. But this is good. He's keeping the king and rook far apart. That will not allow any forks, any double attacks. The pawn is moving. Move that king. Push it forward. Arjun is on his last legs here. The clock has turned red though. 8 seconds. Can he do it? He's bringing his king around. The knight jumps. The king kicking the knight away now. The white pawn so close. Checkmate threatened. A check, a mate, it's coming. A new queen's being born, and there we see it. Arjun Erigaisi resigns. Wow, what a result.
And look at the face, look at the cheer with the Mickey Mouse sweater.
Oh, wow, he was not mousing around in that game. No messing around. What a win for the 12-year-old.
But this is what Title Tuesday is about, getting these amazing upsets. A 12-year-old candidate master who's now beating one of the top players in the world in the first round. And we can see from the face here of Arjun Erigaisi, he wasn't playing around.
No. Oh my God.
That was crazy.
Could the 12-year-old had lost on time if they kept on playing? Or?
Yes. If time ran to 0, he would have lost the game.
Yeah. But I guess he was almost in checkmate, the opponent. Or
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Regardless of the standing. Well, actually, at the end, he would have gotten a draw because the opponent didn't have the pieces to checkmate him, and therefore it would have been an automatic draw. But when he still had pieces that could have checkmated, yes, he would have lost on time.
Yeah, and the reason Black resigned, it was one move before checkmate. It was inevitable. Okay. No matter what happened next, a new queen was about to be born.
Here we see some new matchups. We see Magnus, who is facing up against Inian.
Wow, and already Grandmaster opposition in round 2. Magnus is not playing the cow this time. He's going for an opening that we call the hippopotamus defense. That would be if white pushes a pawn. Now he's doing it, Magnus. He wants to put his bishop and Fianchetto it, create symmetry on the right, the left, on both halves of the board. Then he'll push the corner pawns forward and create the teeth of a hippopotamus. It's a dangerous opening. You lure the opponent forward and then you pounce.
But it's quite crazy. I don't think I've hardly ever seen a 2600 player facing up against Magnus in the second round before.
Yeah,
he is lower rated in the rapid games and probably on Chess.com compared to how it is in the standard FIDE ranking, but still, I mean, he's a 2600 player.
Exactly. I mean, he is very experienced Grandmaster as well. He scored some fantastic results in his career, so this is not going to be easy for Magnus, who decides to break formation. He leans back, stretches. He's playing on the side that his king is, so this is high risk. Don't try it at home. Ladies and gentlemen, the white king is open now, but Magnus going for the kill.
Elephant. I don't think people think that elephants are dangerous. Or tiger. Hyena.
Magnus, he's been on safari in South Africa, naming all the animals that have chess openings named after them. Saying that the elephant gambit, not dangerous. The hippopotamus, maybe a bit of a killer if you allow it. But the cow isn't the most deadly of the animals. And wow, we see a piece sacrifice by Inian here. That is controversial. Magnus Carlsen is going to have to defend once the bishop is taken. The black knight jumps in, and this pawn is not easy to protect. If the knight lands, it lands with a fork, hitting multiple pieces, hitting the queen, hitting the rook, maybe the bishop as well. That is going to be danger for Magnus, who's just smiling. He doesn't see the evaluation bar, of course. He doesn't know that black is much better.
And I love the response from Magnus here. It's like he's sitting back, laughing, enjoying this, and yeah, he looks happy.
But maybe we can bluff our way out of here.
What do you think? Is bluffing possible here, David?
Sveta, you're the poker player. You tell me, is that the face of someone who's confident in their bluff?
That looks like someone I would run away. I would lay down my hand and go far away right now. But I don't think Magnus has a choice. He has to face him.
Yeah, no folding in chess, or at least you don't want to resign too early. And the reason that this is better for black is because once the black knight lands in, attacking the white queen and attacking the rook, at the very minimum, you'll get a rook back for a knight. And when the dust settles, black will have a rook and 2 pawns in return for 2 minor pieces, a knight and bishop. That's a 1-point advantage, at least in mathematical terms. That's what the computer will see. But of course, still plenty left on the board.
But he still achieved something here, Magnus. He achieved more than a minute time advantage with that situation because Inian is not secure, it seems. He's still evaluating this.
Exactly. It's a chaotic position. This is a very weird pawn configuration. I'll just draw some colors on the board. This center is very rarely seen. There we see a white pawn capture. And I think it's just because you can't rely on pattern recognition now. It's so new, fresh, this type of position. Magnus loves that. We talked about the challenge that he likes to present himself, but Inian will find it difficult to navigate. There we see the clock being burnt. He spent now around half of his start time just to get here now at move 17. Of course, the biggest questions lie ahead.
By the way, for those who just turned on the stream, we are also here with Isaac Sandelman, who is with Lovable. Lovable that can I know this is going to sound simplified, I'm sorry about that, but create app out of ideas, in a sense, where you have AI that creates the app that you envision. In that, when we're on that topic, we have been trying to get viewers to send in their ideas for what app he should create on air. So please, in the chat, send your ideas for an app that you would like to have made. And Isaac, you're going to make it, right?
Yeah, I'm going to make it. So we're going to select one of the apps after we have gathered some of these ideas. And then I'm going to go off cam and I'm going to build it out. And then I'm going to display it in the next, after I built. Yeah.
I look forward to it. We still have 2.5 games to decide which app we're going to use. So write in the chat, either if you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, if you're somewhere else watching, we're going to be monitoring the chats. But speaking of creating, how's Magnus going to create problems for Inian here?
It's tough. He's actually up a full piece, Magnus Carlsen, but his position is so bad that the bar has turned fully black. Black has a winning advantage now due to the power, mainly, of this pony. This is not just a knight, it's not just a horse, it's a stallion right now, controlling most of the board. White, though, it's mainly about the queen and rook. Offside, absent from the defense. White's king has no pawn protection around it. Magnus wiping his eyes there, trying to perk up, because in the near future, watch out for the black queen to swing in. Somewhere on this diagonal. Some squares are covered for now, but that is the danger. Magnus, if he takes back with the knight, we'll see black's pawns start motoring forward, kicking pieces out the way as they march. So now the clock times here, the advantage that Magnus had built up being eaten away. I'm seeing that some of our chat asking for modeled games for every openings. Isaac might be forced to delve into the chess realm, the chess sphere, if our viewers get what they want. In the meantime, Magnus is delving forward with his knights, but they have no backup. I'm looking at the black queen jumping the whole way in now on this diagonal as a potentially killer move. Magnus fatal attack incoming there towards his king. Sveta, I don't see him defending this. I think this is a golden opportunity. If this move is played, Magnus would be in huge trouble. Move. Okay, still a good move. There are no bad moves in such a good position here for Inian. That is sneaky. He's threatening to take this knight and then jump his queen into one of the squares on the dark square diagonal. And Magnus improving his queen. There are knight checks as well that looks super scary. That is a very strong move. Magnus will be forced to step back. And now the black queen has to jump in. This is looking deadly now.
Is there some kind of trickery here? I mean, 116, is it still complex enough that time is an issue?
Yes, but if the next 2-3 moves, Magnus can't find a trick and can't find some way to just survive, then this could be over before he knows it. Inian on the brink of a huge upset. Magnus needs magic here and now. I think it's a small window of opportunity. If he can survive and the opponent goes down past the 1 minute mark, then game on. But that's why Magnus is slowing down. He knows he needs something. I'm trying to weigh up what might be the most practical. Trying to bring his rook in is what he wants, but that would walk into a nasty knight check, and the rook would be lost. He's struggling. I don't see it either. Magnus can barely move, barely survive. He pushes a pawn, but that pawn can simply be captured. There are knight checks now in the air. He's lost here, Magnus Carlsen. That is a deadly check, and look at what's about to happen. The black knight jumps back. That's a fork, hitting the king, hitting the queen. The bishop can't take, it is pinned. The knight takes, and there the bishop jumps in. The white queen is lost. Magnus is down, a queen for 2 knights. But more importantly, it is the king that's about to die, and Magnus is about to resign. There we go, the big shock has happened here in round 2.
Wow. Inian. I mean, yes, he's a great player. He's a GM. He's a 2,600 FIDE-rated player, but still, we would not see this coming.
Do you know who I blame?
Tell me.
Anna Kramling. She tempted Magnus with the cow opening. He went kind of semi-cow opening round 1. He went the hippopotamus opening round 2. But these openings, they have a dubious reputation. And against strong grandmasters, there's a risk of punishment.
Once Magnus Carlsen actually gets punished for his exploitiveness with different openings, we can see that Inian is just simply too good of a player to get away with that. And that means we have a Magnus Carlsen with 1 out of 2. How hard is it to come back from that?
Oh, it's going to be tough. Magnus is going to have to go on a massive winning streak now. Traditionally, in Title Tuesday, the winning score is around 9.5 to 10. That's the average that you need in order to win one of these tournaments. So Magnus might have to win the rest of his games, or at least go close to perfection in order to catch up with the leading pack now.
And the tiebreaker will now never be good enough, right?
Exactly. He will have, or at least by the end of this tournament, he will have fought against opponents far lower rated. So Magnus's tiebreak is in tatters. In the meantime, another top player, Nihal Sarin, one of the highest rated players on Chess.com, in trouble.
He is playing against Kusko here, and the international master has only 12 seconds left on the clock. Is that enough?
Oh, 12 seconds, probably not enough, especially while the queens remain on the board. That means that White's king might face some nasty checks. We see that the bar went fully white there. That's because the black king was suddenly open. Really shocked Nihal Sarin allowed this, but 8 seconds for Kusko shouldn't be enough. The black queen and knight form a barrier here, creating a bit of a fortress. The black king is eating pawns as it marches forward. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. He's going to run out of time. The game still has so far to go, and there we see it. Nihal Sarin with a check wins the game.
And that pretty much answered the question that you asked earlier, Isaac. Even though the position, as you can see at the end, is equal, it was obviously time that lost him that game, even not just running out on time, but not having time to make the moves he wanted to.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's going to be like you with the app later. Time crunch.
How is that? 45 minutes to create an app. Is that even possible?
With Lovable, it is definitely. You can create an app in like 5 minutes if it's very basic. With Lovable, it's crazy.
But is it also intuitive for someone who does not usually deal with coding or anything like that? I mean, could I go back at home and write my prompt and really get something workable?
Yeah, definitely. You can.
And if it's not functioning the way I'd like, could I then... I know this sounds like a sales pitch. This is actually me being really curious here. I can also correct the mistakes without knowing codes at all?
Yes. So you send your first prompt and you get an initial generation. And then you can continue prompting to make changes, to add new features. And we have Lovable Cloud is what it's called. And it's our integrated database. So you'll be able to add the login, sign up to your app. So you can have users, storage, you can add AI to the app that you're building, all seamlessly without knowing how to code.
Nice.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It does sound like fun. I mean, I don't know about you, David. I mean, the first thing I'm thinking about, maybe I'm just being silly, that is a home media center where I can create an app to really run my media center back home and just make sure that I can catch every single sports game that goes on during a week.
And I know you, that's top priority. That would make you a happy man. That's all you want. And yeah, I'm hoping our viewers will be very happy with the results from the app. A bit later, one player who's not going to be happy with results is Magnus Carlsen. On the comeback trail now, you can see the body language a bit more deflated, a bit less energetic. He starts this opening, this game with black. He plays the Sicilian defense Magnus, and he's gone for something we call the Dragadorf. It is a mix between the Sicilian dragon, which means that Magnus has placed his bishop on a long diagonal. He's actually fianchetted both of his bishops now. And the Sicilian Najdorf, named after Polish-Argentinian Grandmaster Miguel Najdorf. So Magnus, by pushing this pawn forward, and then pawns on the queen side, has gone for a bit of a mishmash, but I guess he counts the dragon here as an animal. That's the theme of the day, Magnus playing animal openings.
Well, he doesn't stop, that's the thing. He's playing his Finnish counterpart now. He's Norwegian. We're right in the middle in Sweden. This is a bit of a Nordic battle right here.
Exactly. Battle for the North. And yeah, his opponent's actually known as a bit of a streamer as well, a bit of a content creator. So this is a bit of a tricky one for Magnus. Not easy at all.
I just wanted to let you guys know about what is actually quite the feast of a game that's going on at the same time, just for those who want entertainment value. Over at table number 3 right now, we have Denis Lazovic, who's playing against Erik Hansen. That's quite a fun match number 3 setup.
Exactly. Nice to see Chessbra, Erik Hansen, the man with the most Nordic name ever, on board 3 against Denis Lazovic. And yeah, we'll follow that game potentially a bit later. We'll check in and update everyone on the results on the top boards, of course. But this is big here in Stockholm as Magnus tries to strike back. His position's apparently slightly better here. I don't like what White has done with his bishop. This looks like a very blocked-in piece, especially the rook staring at its own pieces, looking very awkward. Now there's an attack against the Black Knight, but the White Queen is also vulnerable on this diagonal, so it feels like Magnus is doing quite well. But early days here, of course, in this game.
But Karttunen is laughing.
He's streaming as well. You see him talking to his audience. I know he creates YouTube videos. Let's listen in. Ooh.
Just when he decided to be silent.
Just as we jump in, he finishes his sentence. And not much we can conclude from that, but I don't think he's unhappy with the position.
Why did I put it on C8 immediately, if I'm happy to move it? Well, the truth is, I didn't think that far.
Magnus being a little self-deprecating today, I would say.
Yeah, he's breaking all the myths we associate with top chess players. Sometimes they don't see more than 1 or 2 moves ahead. As long as you see the right way forward, that is enough. And curious pawn sacrifice here from Karttunen, who there gave up a pawn, but he wants to trade off queens. He's got an open line now in return, and he's saying to Magnus, if the queens come off, actually, the black king in the center cannot castle now, as this pawn would be vulnerable. So really interesting attempt there by the Finnish international master.
I gotta ask you about that, though. You're saying that, okay, the hypothesis or whatever, the stereotype about chess players isn't true, but how often do you feel like top-level chess player stereotypes are true? I mean, do you feel as though your chess friends, your GMs, are the smartest people in the world?
No comment. I don't refute it. When actually one of the most common questions I get asked is like, how many moves do you see ahead? Is it 10? Is it 20? Is it 30? And I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever the highest number they say, I agree. It's 30 moves, when actually it's probably 2 or 3. And it's just nice to perpetuate that myth.
But it is a sense of a lay of the land. You know where, I mean, you may see 3, 4, 5 moves ahead, but you know where you are 3, 4, 5 moves ahead, and based on that lay of the land, you know kind of where you are 3, 4, 5 moves ahead of that. Is that a correct way to think about it?
Exactly, and I think from the patterns we recognize, from the experience we garner over so many years, we kind of filter out very, very quickly what are logical moves, what moves we're not scared of. So in the critical variations, normally there's just 1 or 2 lines. For example, here, Karttunen, Magnus is trying to calculate what happens if he pushes his pawn forward. That is where he's looking. One direction. It's better to see one direction, 2 or 3 accurate moves into the future, rather than 8 wrong directions, 20 moves into the future. So here we see Karttunen has sacrificed a piece. Magnus has a whole extra knight right now, but the white pawns are marching, so some compensation. If the pawn does step forward, Magnus is trying to put his knight in the center of the board, and he should be getting this win now. He should be bouncing back with black.
2 minutes on the clock for Karttunen. It's Magnus who has 2.5 minutes. It's 2 players with 1 point each, and Magnus, who seems to be more focused on the animals than his chess, but still, he's coming out to pretty good black position in this game.
Exactly. The dragon hasn't quite been breathing fire, but it's at least been scary enough here to force Kartinen into some mistakes. I'm just curious what he's going to come up with next. There's the orangutan opening. There's the creepy crawly opening. The cow still hasn't made an appearance fully, Magnus, so he's still owing.
It's a Norwegian rat, right?
The Norwegian rat, exactly. There's the monkey's bum opening. I don't think we'll see that. That's quite a rare branch of chess. Yeah, but Magnus, he's having fun, even if the results haven't been all his way so far. Now stepping back, saving his extra knight. Still a piece up, and White lacking the compensation that he requires. He kind of controls the whole left side of the board, White. Look at this totem pole of pieces. But yeah, if you're one piece down, that's all that matters. And the other side of the board belongs to Black. The bishop is about to jump out and hit this White rook. And it's a matter of time. 2 minutes versus 1 minute.
But it is a fun disparity here, though, with the king side and the queen side, and how extremely unbalanced it is right now.
Yeah, and normally that provides some hope, but when you're one piece down, when you're 1 minute down, they say a minute in Blitz chess is worth a pawn. So the fact you're already down on material, your kind of hustling, swindling chances, they tend to disappear. You need to be a proper swindler to save this one, and a pawn is captured. That's a good trick. Bishop takes bishop would land a knight check, and the white knight would be able to retake that bishop on the next move once Magnus runs away. He missed that, Magnus. Look at the frown.
I'm putting on his sound.
But still under control.
Should be fine. Bring the king into the defense. Block some pawns.
There we go.
There's also the threat of knight c3. Which, to his credit, he saw.
Yeah.
But I like what you said. It's got to be a swindle, and Kartinen knows he's an experienced guy. He goes straight for the swindle, and Magnus kind of fell for it. He just realized that, whoa, wow, didn't see that, but it's still good.
Exactly. And again, that's what the top players do. Everyone is human. Everyone misses things. But it's about keeping things enough under control to get the job done. And there we see Magnus wins. He was a knight up, and Kartinen's pawns were about to start dropping. Game over.
And now let's move into the feast of the game. This is Erik Hansen against Denis Lazovic. We know that bedroom better than most that Denis Lazovic is playing, but we also know Erik Hansen's streaming room quite well after the years.
Exactly. Out there in Toronto, Erik Hansen, that is the famous chess bra house. And Denis Lazovic, can he add another medal to his collection? He has the advantage, but it's such a wild position. The rook is under attack, the pawn is under attack, but the black king looks so cornered. Any check is just game over. So Denis Lazovic has to make sure he doesn't let one through the back, doesn't allow a sudden attack from the white rooks. And we see the eval bar swinging.
Is it that complicated right now?
Yeah, wild position. But that does mean that Denis Lazovic is a favorite because of the clock. Erik, he's a bit older now than he used to be. He used to be a speed demon. And the clock, he has mentioned in the past when he visited Oslo for Title Tuesday, that time is his biggest enemy.
But I was watching his stream yesterday or 2 days ago where he was playing bullet after bullet after bullet in the tournament, and it did seem like he was doing quite well against a lot of the top players in bullet.
Yeah, maybe better to start the game with 1 minute. Here, I think it's not about having 14 seconds. He's still capable of playing great moves with a few seconds left, but it's just the fact that he's down so much time. We see the queens traded off. If we do a quick count, Denis Lazovic has one extra pawn, and it doesn't sound like much, but at this level, it should be decisive, and Erik running out of time. 5 seconds, clock going even redder than before. Rook endgame, rook's being traded. Denis keeps them on. 2 seconds now. 1 second for Erik. It's not enough. There's too many pieces. He leans back in devastation. He lets his clock run out. Game over.
Frustration there for Erik Hansen, and this is simply a matter of taking too long when it gets complicated. I mean, it is also about staying in chess shape, isn't it? For those situations, like when it comes down to the wire, you have to be in chess shape to be able to make quick decisions.
Exactly, and that's why I want an app about budgeting, how to budget for life, because Erik Hansen didn't budget his time well enough in that game.
Any good ideas so far, Isaac?
Yeah, I have a couple that I think are notable. So I think let me read some of this. So. I think chess opening recommender based on a player's rating and playing style sounds interesting, and I think that might be possible to build. I saw another one, build a simple web app called Favorite Chess Games. The app allows users to save and organize their favorite chess games. I think that could also be possible, maybe a bit harder, because then you need to save more data, but also possible. We have this one, a chess boxing app, where you play in between your chess games, you play like an old school arcade boxing game. A bit silly, but you know, could be possible. Thing with some of these games is that you need assets, you need like images of I guess the boxers in the arcade game boxing against each other. So it could be a struggle to get that in 45 minutes, but it might be possible.
Last chance, guys. It's only one more game before we're going to decide which app that Isaac is going to go out and create for which is pretty much the best idea that you come with. Write your idea for an app that he's going to create in 45 minutes in the chat while we're moving on to Bortnik and Nihal.
Okay, and we jump in at a very early stage. For those who are big fans of Alexander Bortnik, you know his favorite opening is the Jabava London system, which means pushing the d-pawn, bringing your knight out, and then pretty much without fail, bringing your bishop out to this f4 square. That's the London system. There's a twist with the white knight that's just been traded off coming out, but he and Daniel Naroditsky, good friends. They were huge supporters of this opening. They played it game in, game out, got so much success. Nihal Sarin with black has gone for one of the most solid systems, planting his bishop on a light square, trying to trade off the white counterpart here, and installing a pawn in the center. White has doubled pawns, so at some point I'm expecting to see one of them step forward to trade off. You don't want doubled pawns for the rest of this game. Early days, but a very solid start for both sides.
I guess Nihal Sarin is one of the players who really want to qualify for the EWC. He got to play it last year. He managed to qualify into the Esports World Cup. He said it was a great experience. He hated his results that didn't go as he was hoping, but he is a player that is so much better in these faster formats.
Exactly. I love Nihal. He's just one of the nicest players you'll ever meet. I've been on a team before with him in the Spanish league, and every team dinner, every evening, he would just sit there on his phone playing bullet chess for hours on end, and he would be like, sorry, please don't talk to me, I'm playing bullet. And he loves speed chess more than anyone I've ever met. Of course, super strong grandmaster in classical. He's really leveled up over the last couple of years, but he is world class when the clocks are low. Instincts, so sharp. He's played, I think, hundreds of thousands of games online at this point, just in Blitz alone. And big threat from Nihal Sarin. He wants to land a fork with his knight. That's an undefended pawn. Watch out, Bortnik on the defensive.
Just wanted to let you guys know as well, with Magnus, who we've been following for the first 3 games, he's now playing against Menua Hakobian. And Magnus has the white pieces in that game.
Yeah, Magnus really needs to put that streak together. He's won 1 game in a row. It probably needs to be at least 7 or 8 to have any impact on this tournament. Nihal Sarin looking away while Bortnik starts to think. Both of these players are known as bullet fiends as well. So if the clocks tick down to 1 minute each, they're still super strong. So accurate. They rarely blunder. That's, I think, the main trait between these two. They don't make any obvious mistakes.
I like the comment that comes in, as we see from YouTube on top here now, just noticing the rating that Nihal actually has for this Chess.com rating with 3308. That's quite impressive.
That's impressive, and he's not one of the farmers, as we say in chess. He doesn't just play lower rated opposition hundreds of times to try and kind of eke out those extra rating points. Nihal plays everyone. He'll play anyone. Magnus, he'll happily challenge. He'll happily challenge myself, Bortnik, Nakamura, and he gets the job done. And Bortnik is super strong. I'm surprised that there's almost a 200-point difference between them on Chess.com. I think maybe Bortnik streams a bit more fluctuation. So Nihal, Mr. Consistent, should be a small favorite, although the position might say otherwise here.
How's your speed game these days, David?
Rusty. Super rusty. Back in the day, I could hang with these two. I actually had a very good score against Nihal back on Lichess in the old days. But yeah, my time has passed. I leave it to the young kids to do the mouse skills these days.
Has it though, or can we convince you to start working a little bit on your speed game and your classical game? I mean, hey, maybe represent Norway at some point.
Oh, no comment. I have been asked. I have been approached.
I should not make those comments on air, right?
Yeah, just in case any of my English teammates are listening. Nothing is in the works right now.
Speaking of the English teammates, where are they in Title Tuesday? Why do so few of the English players play Title Tuesday?
I know. We see the English opening more than we see English Grandmasters in Title Tuesday. I'm hopeful. I've been trying to convince them. I was in London recently for the London Chess Classic and trying to persuade England to
represent. We want more players from all around the globe. We want fans, all of you watching at home, to go and pester your favorite players from your country and tell them, Tuesday, that is the time to compete.
We see an equal position, but who would you rather want to be here, black or white?
Ooh, I'm more used to playing the black side of these positions. It's more strategic from Nihal Sarin's standpoint. He's essentially playing against a weak pawn, a doubled pawn that's only protected by a rook. But watch out, that rook is about to be kicked away. And once that rook just kind of retreats and disassociates itself with that pawn, that is a material advantage. But the other side of the coin is that short-term, Bortnik has chances. Look at the Black King. Not much protection. A pawn has already advanced in front of it. There are some weak dart squares. And what does he have? He has a dart squared bishop. So at some point, the bishop could land forward. You need a queen or a knight maybe to add to the mix to really get at the enemy king, which doesn't feel comfortable. So Bortnik, this is the moment. He needs it here and now.
Wow.
Bortnik.
Trying to see if we could hear what Bortnik was saying, but it just stopped talking here. But from what you're saying, I mean, the time reflects a lot of what you're saying as well. I mean, he's now 1.5 minutes behind as well.
Exactly. And look at that, Nihal meditating, but the piece is still moving. He's using his Jedi mind tricks to move the mouse, to move the pieces. And wow, Bortnik presses the chaos button. He gives up a rook for knight. That's a sacrifice just to get the time to push his pawns forward. But Nihal will retreat, and he's up a rook for knight. The attack still a distant dream. Bortnik in trouble.
Still 1.5 minutes separating these guys. It's Nihal with his almost 3 minutes on the clock, and he's now also ahead on the eval bar. He's looking comfortable right now, the Indian.
Yeah, he's looking very good, very calm, confident. If he can defend the storm over the next 5 or 6 moves, he should win this game.
Oh, I'm looking at the comment on top now. Can't wait for the Esports Cup again. We both got to go there last year, David, and that was quite the experience.
It was incredible. I didn't know what to expect, I've got to say. First time it had ever been done.
I don't think anyone did.
Exactly, and maybe that was why it was such a big kind of success. It was so refreshing, the Esports World Cup, to see the players cheered on in a live arena. The players all really bought into it. Nihal Sarin was making some lovely comments about how this was the opportunity of a lifetime. He won more cash in 1 week than the rest of his career. And yeah, it was just a feast of chess. And we'll see most likely at least one of these two back there, if they can continue their speed prowess in Title Tuesday this split and next. They're on course for qualification if they can keep racking up those points. But here we see Bortnik. It's the last roll of the dice. He's going for the Black King. Look at how close the White Queen is. Dangerous, but needs backup. Nihal, therefore, blocks that side of the board. On the other flank, it's been pure dominance. And watch out, Nihal is threatening not just the White Knight, but also a Queen trade. A check would force the Queen off the board, and that would spell the end of the attacking chances. Bortnik needs a stroke of brilliance here. He needs some luck. He needs a blunder from Nihal Sarin to save this game.
Is there any way, I mean, is there somewhere where you can imagine that blunder happening right now, or is just 2 minutes too much time on the clock?
Yeah, I think it's too much here. This is a really good try, though. I'm impressed by this last move by Bortnik. He's giving up his knight willingly. He's saying, please, please take me. The White Rook would then lift, attacking the Black Queen. And watch out, after the White Rook lifts, the White Bishop will jump out the way, and the White Rook would have a clear path towards the open, naked Black King. That would end potentially in a checkmating attack. So Nihal Sarin calculating carefully whether he can take the bait. Taking this knight might actually backfire, might rebound. That's the most natural move for Black. So there is still trouble. And look at the clock suddenly. The difference is shrinking. What to do? 1 minute for Nihal Sarin.
And this is the only way that he can really get in trouble right now, isn't it?
Exactly. He needs to be brave here, Nihal, and find a solution. Maybe that involves using one of the, I was going to say, moving one of the Black Rooks and sliding it across. Still much better for Black, but no longer winning. Bortnik, can he miraculously save this game? Jumping with the knight has to be on the radar. Maybe you can jump it forward with a sacrifice to blow open the Black King even further. Bortnik, though, 30 seconds, needs to speed up.
As we see from the writing on top here, Magnus won his game and moves on to 3 out of 4 points. He's still on. He still has the possibility of scoring 10 points today.
Exactly. He's going to be in the chasing pack. And there we see another sacrifice from Bortnik. It shouldn't work. The eval bar goes black, but this is a gamble worth taking. Nihal suddenly on the camera grimacing, looking a bit in pain there because the white pawns are coming. That is a pawn storm that is going to break the Black defenses if White gets one more move.
He's got a small window. What can he do here? Does he take this pawn with his bishop? Does he take it with his rook? Does he try to bring his queen back? Nihal actually takes the pawn, and suddenly this is turning. He has to give up his bishop. Watch out. And he's walked into a checkmate. Nihal Serene has just blundered. Bortnik with a checkmate. Turns it around.
And look at reaction from Bortnik. He points to the camera. That is such an in-your-face as well when he does that. But look at Nihal. He's devastated right now.
That was one of the biggest turnarounds I've seen in ages here on Title Tuesday. Bortnik looked done. He looked toast. 20 seconds left. But that is what happens when you attack the opponent's king fearlessly. Sometimes you get given those golden opportunities. What a finish there.
Still have a few games left. Let's just take the remainder that is still being played here. We just have a win by Shimanov against Artemiev. We have Duda losing here. We have Svana against Move Ahead. That's actually a really interesting game as well. I don't know which one, but...
Yeah, it's Rasmus Svana, the German brothers, of course, super strong. Move Ahead will not be moving ahead to 4 out of 4. It looks like he is about to lose his game. There we see the result confirmed. A lot of white wins at the top, but then, wow, all decisive results on the top 20 boards here. It was a bloodthirsty round in round 4.
Bloodthirsty round in break 4, but it was also blood that was let down by Magnus Carlsen in round 2. He took an unexpected loss. Let's look at the action replay by Lovable.
And this was a tough game for Magnus. He was actually a piece up here after playing the hippopotamus opening, but it was a winning position for black due to the dominance of a knight in the center. The black rook now coming across. The white king is just so defenseless here. No pawn shelter in front of it, and Magnus found himself in huge trouble. The white queen, really passive. The white rook in the corner, bottom left of the screen there, just never entered the game, and Magnus was not able to hold on. These are the closing stages. Inian won Magnus's queen and forced, with that double attack at the end there, a resignation. What a result.
Amazing win by Inian, and that was today's action replay by our great partner, Lovable. New apps every day, it said at the end there at that Lovable ad, but I'm most excited about the one new app that you're going to be creating pretty soon here, Isaac. What are you thinking?
Yes, okay, so I think it's between two alternatives that are found in the chat, which I think are cool and also possible to build, or I think they're going to be possible to build. So one of them is like an app for teaching kids how to play chess. So it was recommended, let me see if I can find who recommended it. Rudelx7 in the chat. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but he recommended app for kids entering into chess world, cartoonish, animated, and I'm thinking we can have like interactive pieces of kind of mini courses, tasks, people to learn chess. Another alternative was this chess boxing, so you would have like an arcade game in between chess rounds, basically. So you play like 5 moves and then you play arcade.
I do love both. I do think that visually, the second one would be quite more transmittable to our audience. What do you say?
I mean, chess is a bit like boxing. You want to get your opponent up against the ropes. You want to knock them out, ultimately. I don't want to bias you. I mean, also, there's a lot of fans out there I know watching with kids who may be getting into chess. Isaac, I think the choice is yours. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Shit, okay. Can we ask the chat? Is that possible? Or maybe we'll take too long. Okay.
You have to choose now. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll choose now. I'll go with the chess boxing.
Perfect.
I'll go with the chess boxing.
By the way, did you guys play that Mike Tyson Punch-Out game back in the day? Well, not back in the days, because that was even before my time. But I mean, I have good experiences from now these old-time arcade-like boxing games.
Yeah.
I have great experiences from chess. No pressure. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm going to have to lock in and begin building this with Lovable.
You're going to go work on the app, Isaac. Yeah. We really appreciate that. We're going to make a quick shift in the studio, but thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
See you later.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Welcome back. We're getting a quick change in the studio. Right now, we're joined by Anna Kramling, who, I don't know if you're popular right now or not, but Magnus has gotten in trouble over playing cow opening today.
I know, this is crazy. I was watching game 1, but he didn't fully play it. Can I say that? He's still missing one knight.
Exactly, but what he ended up doing was going on an animal spree, which led him to lose the next game on a hippopotamus.
Oh, that's what he did. He played the hippo. But that's what I'm saying. The cow is superior to the hippo. Why would he play the hippo after he won with the almost cow? He should just have gone for it again.
Listen, this is the debate we're going to continue. First, I got to introduce also Virtual. You're also a top gaming streamer from Trackmania. But I actually think right now I want to introduce you as the envy of the chess world, because most importantly in this setting, you are Anna Kramling's boyfriend.
Yeah, no, I'm living the dream life, you could say. But yeah, also playing a lot of Trackmania and enjoying chess, watching chess.
Quickly, I got to ask you, because you got your introduction to chess when also you got to know Anna when she was your coach training for the PogChamps. So how's your chess going right now?
Well, it's gotten better, to be fair. I just played a creator tournament called PogChamps, where a bunch of creators that don't typically play chess compete to see who's doing good. And I got to the champion bracket of the tournament, but I lost to Andrea Botas. Okay. So I thought, I've gone my distance now. I can't get further than that, so yeah.
That was your answer, Anna? What's your answer? How's his chess getting?
He's improving a lot. I mean, he loves chess. He plays more chess than I do nowadays. It's actually crazy. So I'm very impressed, but I want to make him even better.
Good. Have you guys gotten to catch up on the first 4 rounds today?
Not fully. We saw that Magnus lost in the second round, and then did he win both of the games after?
Yes, he did. So he's 3 out of 4. Okay. We have a lot of other top players who's up in the top bracket here. David, it's leading up to be quite the exciting next 4 games of play.
Exactly. We've seen some big upsets. Magnus losing. Hikaru lost actually in round 4. So he's dropped off this leaderboard. We see the top 20 players. It feels like a wide open week.
But we talked about one player who's now ahead in the total standings on this this split number 2. Because he took the chance when you were in South Africa, while you were in South Africa, while I was in South Africa and Magnus was. Sam Sevian went ahead and won the last tournament. That means that he's now leading this split 2, and he really has a chance to pull ahead of the field.
Yeah, this is a golden opportunity for Sevian, who we see at the top of the standings. Some other big names include Nodibek Abdusattorov, Alexander Grishuk, Bortnik, we saw with that huge turnaround, still on 100%. Yeah, 15 players, perfect so far.
Spalme, who just had an upset win against, was it Move Ahead?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big results.
Yeah, Casina Move Ahead has been, creating headlines lately.
Still love his name. It's incredible. I mean, there are some sport athletes that just have the best names for their respective sport. He is certainly one of them. Very cool to follow.
Right now we're moving over to Bortnik. Bortnik, by the way, had a very turnaround win in his last game here, and now playing against Abdusattorov.
And we see Bortnik start with the same opening that he did against Nihal Sarin. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He plays the Jabava London system. The White Knight did kind of leap forward, had to go back. No cow opening, unfortunately, here. But this is very interesting stuff. He's pushed his H-pawn forward, which makes me think he might be hinting towards a later attack against the Black King on this side. Watch out, there was a queen trap as well. Queen takes pawn would have allowed the White Knight to go to the edge of the board, and there would have been no way home for that queen.
Wow.
Very famous trick there. So, yeah, and lots of openings. This pawn is offered up as bait, the poison pawn. But here, not captured by Nodibek, who's going to first bring his bishop out most likely and cover that square to try and threaten. There we go. Now queen takes pawn would be possible, attacking the White Knight. And Bortnik shaking his head, smiling. Looks like he's in a good mood at least.
Stop at bishop d7.
How is he?
I just added like.
Yeah.
When I recorded, I checked this line, knight e5 and bishop rook h3, or even rook h3 right now is possible too. And the point is a e4 move and trapping queen on b2. That's a new in the course.
And I mean, this is quite far into the game. Is this still theory for Bortnik? Because I know him and Dania did a lot of stuff with Jabava London, right?
Exactly. This course that he was talking about, I believe it was kind of, I think they've produced some stuff and posted that in the past. But I believe there's a new course coming out that Bortnik and Dania were working on, kind of half finished. And he's kind of taken it on himself to finish the course and make the Jabava London system into a real weapon. And Yeah, he's talking about bring the knight forward, bring the rook forward. He's going for the opponent's king, and Daniel would have been proud. This is a very attacking chess.
And they're also such opposites when they're playing here. Bortnik and Abdusatorov. We have Bortnik doing the laid-back streaming. I mean, the guy is almost lying back while playing 5 without increments, and you have Abdusatorov who's always ahead in his seat, always looking forward, always in game mode.
Absolutely. But I mean, Bortnik is so used to streaming so much. He's always playing these Blitz games, bullet games. This is just a regular Tuesday for him, playing like this.
How's that for you, Anna? Do you play better or worse chess when you're streaming?
I think I play worse. I want to believe I play better, but then sometimes I play without streaming and I'm like, wow, I actually see pretty far ahead. I'm actually not so bad. So I think, unfortunately, I do worse, of course, chatting and all this, but at the same time, sometimes when you're chatting, you have to, you kind of get a flow, you know? So I think when you have the flow, maybe you play a bit better, but in general, worse, yeah. Okay, so now Abdusatorov is retreating a lot. Are we still going to see Bortnik creating an attack? Is that possible? No, because he just castled, right? So he's kind of stopped on those ideas?
Yeah, at least with the rook. Now it's harder for white's rook to get in, but the queen will come forward at some point, maybe slide across, and it does feel like, wow, full retreat mode. Wow. He wants to play freestyle chess. He wants to put his bishop back, move his king, move his knight back, and set the pieces up. Suddenly, the centralization for white looks beautiful. This was the idea, though, from Nodebek. He wants to trade off the kind of leader of the white attack, leader of the army in the center. I'm expecting now a pawn trade, forcing the knights off the board. Otherwise, black would have a double attack on this square. It does look nice, though, visually, at least for white. Feels like exactly what he wants against, intense Abdusatorov, as he's called. Nodebek does love staring the opponents down, so maybe playing online chess kind of removes that big weapon of his.
That is true. I have played against him, and even I felt stared down. And it's not like I'm an opponent that he's very afraid of.
He was trying to melt you with the stare.
The stare
down.
He always does that. Okay, so he takes the knight. And now the question is, do you take with the pawn or with the bishop?
Ooh, should we have a quick vote? I think he's going to take with the pawn. Anna, virtual.
I mean, my intuition would tell me to take with the bishop, but that is, of course, a very much lower level than these guys play at. So why is it better to take with the pawn?
Yeah, I just had a feeling he wanted to attack. Like a pawn on e5 is well known as kind of cutting the board in half. But yeah, I mean, there's no concrete reason. It's just a kind of vibe. And
it is a vibe, and it's just now the knight can't retreat to f6, so now you've eliminated one of black's defenders, and it's going to be really hard to get back to f6 unless you play something like f6, but then you're weakening a lot your king, and otherwise you need to start attacking that e5 pawn, but it's quite easy to defend as well. So I agree that it's a vibes idea. It just feels good to have a pawn on e5 preventing the knight from coming back.
Exactly. Sometimes that's just how it goes, especially in Blitz, right? You just have to play a move that feels right, and then hope that later on it's important somehow that black's pieces can't come back towards the king side. The black queen can't jump over its own pieces to come and defend. He gets his bishop out of the way. He's getting ready to do something on the d file. I just don't know what that is. Again, the vibes are there, but you need something tangible.
Something more concrete, yes. If he could get a knight, you know, to e4 somehow in a certain moment, of course, that's not possible right now with the pawn, but if you could, it would be so beautiful to take control of all those dark squares.
I have a feeling he might even move his knight out of the way a bit later to try and push this pawn forward, then bring his knight back and do it the long way around once you can break down the center. He wants to push this pawn as well, but black will bypass and block things up.
And what is Abdusatorov doing on the c file? Why is he doubling up over there?
Rooks, yeah, they normally want to be in open files, not staring at their own pawns. Especially if it's not a pass pawn, rooks behind pawns. Do feel a bit awkward. Good question, Anna. And maybe that's why white is better here. The black piece is a bit suffocated. It's like rush hour here, traffic jam.
And if black goes c4, he's going rook, okay, rook b6, so he's trying to put a bit of pressure on the b pawn, but you just play b3. And now, how does black continue this?
Oh, Bortnik very expressive there, as he was saying, like just cement the position. That black rook is going nowhere, but at least it's entered the white half of the board. And he's saying to Bortnik, come at me, start attacking me, and then we see piece sacrifice. Big moment.
Wow.
He was building
aggressive.
Wow.
Is the idea that there's a pin towards the queen and that you can long-term apply more and more pressure, or why is this a sound sacrifice?
Yeah, I'm not sure it is a sound sacrifice. He was much better before it. Now he's slightly worse. Now black's better. I think he was just tired of maneuvering around.
Playing on vibes.
Exactly. His bishop will come out at some point to a nice diagonal. Might force the black rook to sacrifice itself for that bishop.
He's going to get a beautiful bishop and maybe also a beautiful d6 square at some point if he's able to, well, if he decides to trade those bishops out. Okay, wow.
Ooh, this is similar to the storyline of the game against Niehaus Sareen, where Bortnik had the makings of an attack, but he was worse. He was losing for some of it, but as soon as the attack did eventually crush through, he turned it around.
But Bortnik seems to be so good when he's behind on time. I mean, he always falls behind on the clock, and still he manages to find these resources.
Some players, they need the dopamine hit. They need the adrenaline rush of time travel.
I am one of those.
Oh, Anna, it's a bad habit. Me too. But
it is so much fun. You need that dopamine in chess. Okay, but I have an idea. Yes, I would have felt so cool if I said that right before. I was going to say that. E4, I wanted to go F4, F5 at some point. Can you do something like this, or is that crazy?
Yeah, I was expecting that. I actually thought he was doing the same thing. I guess F4 there would have been met by a bishop takes pawn capture, stopping the pawns move forward, but definitely in the air. He's actually sacrificed back a rook for piece now, and suddenly the evaluation bars, oh, it swings. He wants checkmate, but maybe there's just no time. Nodebek, if he's accurate, should be winning this game, but how? 1 minute to find a defense against this scary, scary threat. And he pushes forward.
And Bortnik realizes, you can see his head shaking right now.
And you can capture en passant. That happened. Bypassing the pawn was not an option there. But now the black king, black queen, they can block. There we go, on the light squares. And he's just not going to be able to get through. There's a total fortress.
Yeah.
The black bishop and knight also protect the very important e6 square here. The knight might just sit on that square for the rest of the game. He's giving away everything, Bortnik, but the white bishop blocked. No more attack, and queen's coming off. That's going to spell the end.
There's just not enough pieces. That's the problem. Sometimes an attack looks so good, but if you don't have enough pieces, then you can't win.
Yeah, he's actually only a pawn down, but it feels like way more because there's 3 pawns about to march on that queen side, and the other side of the board, he's playing checkers while Avdou Sasharov's playing chess. Everything on dart squares. And look at that, nasty knight fork gets the pieces off the board. 14 seconds for Bortnik shouldn't be enough. Black massively better here, and with more time.
On clock, on possession.
And how trivial is this for the guys to convert? Is it like they could do it in their sleep, kind of? Because like here, I mean, at my level, an opponent can still put up a couple of tricks, I feel like, but it's just that on the water.
Yeah, I think that was the one trick that he saw, the white rook coming to the 7th, so the king will defend the rook. The king is actually going to go gobble up a pawn now, and now I think it is trivial. I think good question earlier, like there was 1 or 2 tricks, but now these pawns, at some point, very instructive that he's keeping his pawns kind of far back where they can be protected. Only when he's ready does he start pushing. And Nodebek's going to get the job done. 3 seconds for Bortnik. The clock is looking very red. You can make all the moves in the world here and not get the job done, Nick, although there was a blunder of the b-pawn.
Wow.
Wow, pre-move though. It's, it's a race against time, and 1 second, not going to be enough. How is he surviving this far though? But finally a black queen appears, and it's going to be game over. Bortnik runs out of time. Nodebek takes it with a nod of his head.
That means that Nodebek Abdusattorov is still undefeated here with his 5 points. He's looking good, but let's look at some of the other results here. We have Lasovic beating Tabatabai. That's a good win. Grishuk, Sevian. Sevian keeps winning as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5 very active grandmasters. Grishuk is like the last battalion, the last member of the old guard at the top of the table there. It's fascinating to see how he gets on this tournament. But yeah, some of the usual suspects, some Blitz experts, specialists up the top of the standings.
Now we have Lasovic against Sevian. We have, that's going to be also a really excited matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how much does, because every single little point matters. If you want to win the tournament, you cannot really afford to lose a whole point sometimes, or, well, every point, every half point matters a lot. So these games are really important, each and every one of the games, if you want to win the tournament.
Exactly. Tell that to Magnus, who played the cow, or kind of semi-cow.
Don't blame it on the cow, David. It wasn't the cow, it was the hippo.
It was the hippo's fault. And Magnus, he's gone back to playing slightly more mainstream openings. He starts with the Reti opening, and here he's going for the bishop pair. The white knight now is tracking down the enemy bishop. At the right moment, he might pull the trigger, take it, but he might also try and push some pawns to trap that piece if given the opportunity. Black slightly better according to the computer, but I think Magnus will be pretty happy. This is like an improved version of the hippopotamus.
I mean, I'm just thinking about the cow here with how Magnus actually played a rejected cow opening. And in that sense, I mean, it's really catching on now, isn't it, Anna? It's getting there.
You know, when I came up with the idea of the cow opening, never my wildest dreams did I think that I would see Magnus Carlsen, the best chess player in the world, playing it in a real competition. And here we are, the day is here, the 16th of December 25.
And not only did he play it, but in the poll it was voted on about 70% of all the people who voted wanted him to play the cow opening.
I want to say thank you, chat. Thank you for making this dream come true. It's all thank you to you. I'm sure Magnus wouldn't have wanted to play it, but he was forced to, so I appreciate it.
How strict are you with Virtual Anna? Do you force him to play the cow? How strict are you as a coach?
I mean, I quite frankly don't play the cow opening, and Anna says I shouldn't. She says it's like theoretically unsound.
Don't say this out loud,
but you can have fun with it, you know, and play it here and there, play it on an over-the-board game with friends.
You're not supposed to say this.
But I think Magnus is very well aware of how theoretically sound it is, and you know, it feels like he plays with his foot a bit. He plays with the margin of victory and allows, you know, some inaccurate moves, but still keeping things under control. And it feels like that opening actually challenges him quite a lot. So maybe he enjoys it for that reason.
He enjoys it. I want to think that he enjoys it. He won with it, so he better enjoy it.
Is that the concept, Anna, just to challenge yourself with the cow?
Well, yeah, I mean, chess is too easy with the regular opening. You got to make it a bit harder.
Exactly.
No, okay, G5. So this, yeah. But now isn't there bishop f3 sometimes to try to get that knight? Because the knight is very vulnerable there. It can't move anywhere. This is actually quite similar to some positions I play, and my dream is to be able to play bishop f3 and attack it.
Exactly. That's definitely on the radar. Magnus as well could potentially grab a pawn if he's feeling hungry. But we'll see. Let's find out. It looks silent right now. Otherwise, I was going to ask for his thoughts, Magnus Carlsen.
Yeah, I'm going to open up the sound to his streaming booth and see what he has to say about this.
Ooh, big moment. Does Magnus Carlsen?
It's not that. Let's go queen c4, knight c4, boom, boom, boom. Of course, I was thinking that some of my play is based on this knight being out of the game, but on the other hand, I can win a nice clean pawn. It's also a significant factor.
Yeah, Magnus showing that top grandmasters, they're slightly materialistic. If you give them a pawn, they'll take a pawn.
Isn't that funny though, how, I mean, on the top level, how much more materialistic some players are than others, and how you can have these innate personality traits almost on chessboards?
Exactly. Every player has preferences. Some prefer to go for checkmate, win with a quick knockout. Some prefer to dance around, take the material and cling on for dear life, and hope that, yeah, that mathematical equation works in their favor a bit later. Magnus is now 2 pawns up, so this should be winning. His opponent does not look happy either. Klakowski, maybe Magnus will move his king forward, but this, at least he's landed a check here. I realize he's got a cow in his name, Klakowski. Maybe it's a sign he should be playing the cow opening.
Yeah, that will be the next person I go after to play the cow opening. Okay, yeah, so he got 2 pawns. I mean, I guess Black is trying to activate his pieces. That's the one thing he has. But the pawn on a4 is also looking very weak. How does Black defend that?
Ooh, it's tricky. That pawn is dropping, the knight is dropping. Magnus can start simplifying here with some exchanges. We might see that happen. I think maybe take the knight first, then come back for the pawn. Should be getting the job done. The one last remaining question for Magnus is how to eventually get his rook in the corner into the game. Maybe some back rank tricks against the white king as well, so some caution needed.
Oh, he doesn't take the pawn on a4, okay.
Yeah, maybe now. I think he was scared of the other rook activating and something happening down the back rank. So now that the black rook has moved, at least he'll cover the back rank here with his bishop. Ooh, a pin from Magnus instead. Surprising.
Was it because he was afraid of the pawn on a... No, the pawn on h3 wasn't even hanging, no.
Very easily I've got mated there after bishop a4. All of that good stuff. I don't know here.
He was saying he could have been mated if he'd grabbed the pawn a bit earlier, Magnus. So he's just trying to keep things alive. Wow, with a pin here.
Didn't expect that, did you?
Did you expect that?
I didn't. I mean, he packed up.
I think he's talking to Klukowski, but I'm pretending he's talking to you, David.
Exactly. It wasn't on my radar. I will admit it. Magnus.
He had the option to take en passant, so why did he not choose to do that? Is it the rook coming into the game then, and his opponent being more active, or what's the justification?
Yeah, I think he just wants to keep a pin on this knight, and if there had been an en passant, the black rook would have recaptured, defending the knight and liberating the other rook. There were also some nasty checkmating ideas if the black knight ever disappears, but here we see the rook retreat 1 square. That's very odd.
Yeah, can't you take the pawn and now bishop b3 is coming?
Ooh, there we see it. Nice spot, Anna. This is going to end the game. The knight is attacked as well as the bishop threatened. Magnus gets the win.
And he didn't expect that, did he? As Magnus said.
Got to surprise those opponents and keep them off balance. There we see, I think maybe a mouse slip to end it. Rook takes bishop would have been more logical, but here we jump into another important game. Sam Sevian, last week's winner, in huge trouble. Pawn down and with a very open king.
Wow. Yeah, it's looking really tough, but the queens are still on the board. Are there any queen of 3 checks? These kinds of tricks to try to get some checks onto white's king, but I suppose with the queen on a2, constantly defending the pawn on f2, there's just no more checks right now.
Yeah, very important spot there. The queen defends the pawns defend each other, and white is the one to land the first deadly check.
Bishop f6, yeah, to try to prevent the check, and then... Because now you can't go queen e6, because then you take the pawn, but I guess you have to remaneuver a little bit.
If Sam Sevian could somehow trade queens, this endgame will be a draw, right? So he does have chances to play for, but the time's ticking.
Yeah, that's very important. Like every position, you should ask yourself what trades you want at what exchanges. Bishop's coming off the board, it's just going to be a long game. Queen's coming off the board, yeah. As long as black can defend his pawns on the king's side, it should be a draw. Watch out, queen takes bishop would allow black to force a draw with taking this pawn, and the king will not escape the checks. That would be a repetition in the end.
Little nice trick. Here's like queen retreats. Can you go bishop f6 back now, maybe?
Yeah, the question is whether to go back or whether to go in.
But he spent 25 seconds finding that trick. Now he's spending an entire 10 seconds trying some. I mean, 20 seconds, that's the rough way to find the trick.
He knows that he needs to be direct. He needs the game to end soon in order to survive with 19 seconds on his clock. So interesting that he's found a new avenue for his bishop to jump in, but shouldn't be enough. Some queen checks now. Eventually something's going to hang with the check.
Yeah. No, this feels now like the king has no escape, but...
Oh, it's not easy. There we go. The checks force the black king onto a light square. Maybe the bishop check now will force the black king onto an even worse square, and Sevian resigns. If the king had stepped across, the white bishop would have come round and won the black queen.
Let's jump over to Mitraba against Hikaru Nakamura, who is massively better on the eval bar. They're about equal on time, little less than a minute.
Ooh, very complicated position. The first thing I see is the white king in the center of the board, not feeling happy there, blockading a pawn. A quick count shows that it's actually level material, but I think black's just more centralized.
Should we hear what Hikaru says?
Let's do it.
Bishop's. Nah, it's a little tough getting a connection with Hikaru Nakamura right now, but he has 45 seconds left here. Should this be... Should it be easy to uncomplicate this?
I think it's he's found now the key. He's lured out the white king, and now a pawn promotion is imminent. Not just a queen, maybe a knight would be a cool way to settle this game.
Oh my god.
There we go. It's a knight under promotion. Just at the wrong moment, Hikaru, you ran away. You disappeared just like the white king. The queen check. Next move, the knight picks up the queen. Hikaru winning in style.
There we go.
That's beautiful.
Wow. You know what I love about Title Tuesday is that no matter where people are in the world, no matter what tournament they're playing, and no matter anything, on Tuesdays, they're going to be at Title Tuesday. That is always happening no matter what. We see him wearing his t-shirt. I know he's traveling right now, right? So, yeah.
I mean, childbirth won't stop him playing some chess. He's a new father, of course, just a few days ago. Nice message he posted online about that. But yeah, Hikaru, he's an addict. He played chess today in the Global Chess League and now here contributing to this tournament. He's back just in the chasing pack now.
And we can see Magnus is now actually on the front page. Maybe not when these games finish up. Nope. There we see him disappear out. But at least it's getting towards striking distance now. And we only have one player with a full score so far, and that's Denis Lazovic.
Oh, familiar name. We see him do so well, so consistent. His openings are really good. He's super quick. And Lasvik, especially with white, he's just the destroyer of dreams in this format.
Grishuk, Theodorou, Abdusatorov, Shong, Pranav. This is the time when you start seeing the top names on top. The only one we're missing right now, or one of the names we're missing, is of course Magnus Carlsen. But it's tough. He got put in a difficult position there in game 2.
He really did, but he's putting together a bit of a streak now. He's on a roll. I think we've all been there, all chess players who kind of suffer early setbacks that we just need to get back in the zone, and good things can still happen.
And now he gets to play one of the top players again. We have Shong, who's on split second place with his 5.5 points, and that means that he can now start to control his own destiny again by taking points away from the guys ahead of him.
Yeah.
So can I just ask, I feel like today Magnus has played many openings where he's not really taking the center. He's playing a little bit more these systems, right? Or you think out of the bishops, you're playing D3, E3. Is that because he started the day with the cow opening, or does he typically play like this?
He rarely plays like this. So I think it has influenced him, the cow, in good and bad ways. He's often kind of building in the center a bit later, only around move 10 when he's already fianchettoed, castled. Yeah. Then he starts to push forward. This is a hybrid opening. He started with B3, but it's become more of a Reti type situation, and a reverse London system for players who like that, with the black bishop coming out to F5 and retreating.
Because we're just making kind of logical improving moves for now, keeping the tension.
He says logical improving moves, but I'm seeing King H1 for no apparent reason. And it's just logical.
Yeah.
Like, well, I guess the bishop has that diagonal for black, so makes sense.
Prophylaxis. Before the opponent has the satisfaction of a check, you just drop the king in the corner. Maybe the white rook will line up later. And I mean, he's got 3 pawns already. Like, all of those could logically step forward. It's as if the board is split in half. Like, black is playing on the queen side, and white is playing on the other side of the board.
I always think it's more fun than to play on the king side, because the way I think about it is, if you win, then you checkmate. If black wins, they might just win a couple pawns on the queen side. But of course, it's not as easy as that.
Exactly.
But now we see that, okay, he's lost a little bit of control of the dark square, so this seems like a very logical way for Xiong to play to make it a little bit more difficult for Magnus to expand, because you want to play G5, but you can't really do that anymore because there's so many pieces defending that square. So how do you continue the attack, David?
Yeah, good question. It's probably a long build-up game. There we see Magnus retreating his bishop indirectly. He's going to be guarding the square. Next, the knight might step out. Maybe the white rook will step across. He's going to try and prepare this sooner or later. He does know as well. He's tying down 2 big, important black pieces just to guard this square. So for now, I think Magnus is just happy to slowly improve. The problem here for black is not just the incoming attack, but also this bishop is dead on the edge of the board. If you could pick up that bishop and put it anywhere else, then black might be feeling a bit more confident. There we see the eval bar swing, and that's because Magnus now is almost ready. G5, he just needs one more supporter of that pawn push. Maybe the other white knight can come to the edge of the board. And Magnus, there we saw it with a hand movement, forward.
That means pawn forward, yeah?
Pawn storm, allez, let's go. And he's got my favorite pawn formation. I mentioned it earlier, I'll mention it again. Connect 4, automatic win.
What about a connect 5, David? Is that just impossible?
I've tried my whole career. Never.
I should go C4 at some point, but I mean, I will.
Okay. Connect 6 is the dream. H4 now is one idea Magnus there was hinting at. But it's very blocked now. Suddenly you could imagine if Magnus if he doesn't break through now, if he doesn't play en passant, for example, there might not be an opportunity to break open that side of the board anymore.
He didn't.
He didn't. Wow.
Wasn't the pawn... Oh, he was going to take back with the rook, because I said otherwise it looked like the pawn on H6 was a little weak, but I suppose he would have taken back with the rook and defended it. Okay, so his idea instead is to break through with H4. Wow. But now black maybe has time to regroup a little bit, and king G7, there might be ideas of rook H8, and now Magnus king could be a little bit weak there. So he goes king H2 to be able to go to G3, I suppose. But the position is very close now in comparison to before. Black's king feels a lot safer.
And black is slightly better for the first time since the early opening. Now Xiong is breaking through. He's the one threatening to get connect 4. He's the one trying to break open pawns. The black bishop that was dead is actually supporting the queenside pawn storm. This is like a King's Indian defense pawn structure, just with colors reversed. And Magnus, he's found himself at a bit of a roadblock. Suddenly the white knights can't break through. The shift in body language, really obvious from Magnus. Something's gone wrong.
Yeah, I don't like the way that I played this. Should still be fine.
Ooh.
Should it though? Should it still be fine?
I'm not so sure. The problem is he's running out of pieces. One set of rooks are off the board. It's easy for black to break in round the back now. This is the base of the chain. The base of the Connect 4 could be very, very weak, but the base of black's pawn chain in the meantime, super strong. This is all very well fortified and defended.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if you can ever sacrifice on g5, but it's just so defended right now. It doesn't seem like it. That's the problem when you don't checkmate after all this. Then the opponent just stays with a really good position on the other side of the board, and that's what we've seen happen now.
This is instructive stuff from Jeffrey Zhang. He's slightly behind on the clock. Magnus is going to try and get his queen round the side, and it is a blunder. That means something is winning now. It is a nice sacrifice.
G5, wow, and queen h2.
Wow, Jeffrey Zhang took his eye off the ball for just half a move.
Really even have to think about consequences here. If I don't checkmate him, I lose the game. It's as simple as that.
That's how chess works.
Magnus feels very relaxed today.
Yeah, it's something maybe about being home in Scandinavia, just around friends, hopefully. Feeling nice, safe, happy.
I just like his explanation of his relaxation in the sense also just, well, I mean, if I don't checkmate, I lose. Simple as that. And I mean, I guess it is. I guess that realization also takes some of the tension away somehow.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, the bishop retreats. He doesn't take back the piece because it would have maybe just been checkmate. But queen h2 coming anyways, and resignation.
Ooh, wow, that was a huge blunder from Zhang. He could have actually prevented all of this by bringing his queen across earlier and then running away with the black king. But one move too slow, and he never got the chance to run.
Wow.
Can we say that Magnus got away with one here, or?
Oh, I think he was building up for this, so we can't say it was luck. He kind of set it up. He put himself in position to deliver this mating attack, but Zhang did take his eye off the ball. So, yeah, sometimes you kind of get these opportunities and you just have to take them. But Jeffrey, I think, will be disappointed. Magnus, a little bit relieved.
We're moving over to Theodore against Nakamura here, where Nakamura is way ahead on the board, but he is a little bit behind on the clock, but no problematic time trouble here for Nakamura.
No, and it's kind of an easy position to pre-move as well. White has an extra bishop. Black has a pawn in return, but not enough, not a good pawn to be up. The white bishop can happily sit on a square where it's protected for life for the rest of the game. Then you can start bringing your rook around. He's actually starting that sequence now. He's just going to go round behind for this pawn. And once the white A pawn becomes a passer, it's probably going to become a new queen as well.
Yeah, I don't see how you can stop that pawn from pushing together with the bishop. Okay, he has a dream there with the D pawn of pushing. So that was nice. If white took the pawn, then he could have pushed the pawn because the rook would have been hanging if white takes that pawn with the bishop. But now he loses the pawn. He's going to go for the same idea, I suppose. So now rook a6, and he's going to pick up that pawn.
Yeah, that should spell the end of the game. The pawn also promotes on a light square, which is a nice bonus. Same color as white's bishop. Theodorus has some fantastic results recently. Just last week, he won a very, very strong rapid tournament in London ahead of Nodebek, Abdusattorov, ahead of Alireza Firouzja and others. But it looks like this game he will be collapsing against Hikaru. Hikaru had a setback just before the previous break. He's just like Magnus on the comeback trail now, putting together a winning streak.
Do you think Theodore is hoping for a Wi-Fi gambit because he sees that Hikaru's camera keeps going away? I guess he can't see it, but...
Yeah, he is in India. He's not at home, Hikaru. Sometimes you can see it on the server when you're playing. You suddenly see all the bars disappear and you panic. Maybe Theodore will play till checkmate just in case he gets a stroke of luck, lady luck.
Yeah. That is the dream, when your opponent's Wi-Fi just disappears when you're in a losing position. But now it's just going to be game over. And there we have it. The check was inevitable, and the pawn was going to promote.
That leads us to Pranav against Abdusattorov.
Yeah, this is a board 2 clash. Two players who want to get the win here, to leap to the top of the standings, and it's a big blunder. What is that all about? He's just walked into a self-pin here, Pranav, the world junior champion, in a bit of trouble. Some checks against the white king as well, potentially dangerous,
what happens if queen f4?
Yeah, I'm trying to work this out. I think there are ideas of a check, and whatever takes on that square, the black knight will fork that square and the rook.
Oh, wow.
This is crazy geometry. Pranav with no time either, 22 seconds. He drops back his knight, saves that, but this is clever from Nodebek. He's creating a passed pawn by force. brute force here. The queens might come off, but black's going to have a dangerous, dangerous pawn running down the side. Still have to be careful, though. Maybe now he pushes. There we go.
Yeah, wow, that A pawn. But okay, white also has an important pawn, but only 10 seconds left.
10 seconds, and white's pawn is under lock and key for now, making black's position a bit easier to play. The white queen has to go passive, but she's forced off the board. That is going to clinch it. Black is about to make a new queen, and Nodebek leans back with the win.
Wow. Beautiful move there at the end, queen b2.
It's the type of move your opponent plays that's just like an annoyingly good move. You just sit there like, oh, I can't do anything. It's like completely suffocating. Yeah.
Dominance.
Well, Grishuk has just beat Denis Lazovic, meaning that there's no players with a full score after 7 rounds of play. We have Magnus Carlsen with 6. We have 2 players with 6.5 so far. That's Nurdirbek Abzatorov and Grishuk. Grishuk who's really putting up a good performance today. I mean, forever young, right?
Exactly. And in my eyes, he's still young. He was my hero when I was growing up. He was just a few years older than me, and I was like, oh my God, his understanding is just so deep, so good. I loved watching his time scrambles, the adrenaline rush, but he still got it.
My Grishuk story, he not only, I mean, for you growing up as a chess player and really seeing his brilliance there, I'll admit, I have played poker with Grishuk and really got to see his brilliance in something that I was more competent at than I am at my chess, and really, it's such brilliance in how that mind processes.
Former world #2 poker player in the studio with us. I should mention for everyone at home, Sveta.
Wait, what? You're #2? I've played poker with you too. I didn't know this.
That's why he's so good. He hides it.
That's why he's so good.
Never reveals the tricks.
He's a true poker player. Okay, Savion versus Hikaru right here on the board.
Wow, and will it be a black day for Hikaru, who's disappeared? It's the Sicilian defense, and it's been a bit of an odd Sicilian. We saw a strange move order with the white bishop coming out abnormally early, hitting the black queen. It's still sitting out there, but it's kind of transposed into a Taimanov Sicilian now, with black playing on the light squares. Normally you take back that knight with a queen. You try it, okay, takes with the pawn this time. That's very risky, opening himself up to potentially long castles and a rook checkmate at the top of the board. In opera game style. But first a queen trade offered by Savion. That is also a typical idea. If black takes the queens off, white would have opened up the rook on the h-file. So Hikaru says no, but better for white already. Black is behind in development.
What? And now the bar just completely turns? Was it this move, queen h4?
It was this move. It's so fickle, the evaluation bar, the computers. They don't like this, I guess, because at some point the bishop might be kicked back. The queen on the edge of the board might find herself awkwardly placed against a pawn storm. But that was quite a natural move, I've got to say. Now the knight is actually coming cow style to attack the queen.
Well, things are really heating up right now. The first 4 boards, we have Grishuk against Abdusatorov. We have, obviously, as we're seeing here, Seven against Nakamura. We have Carlsen against Dmitry Andraikin. And we have the candidate Bluebaum against Lazovic. So quite a lot of action going on right now.
Yep, this is a crucial moment in the whole tournament, I feel like, because, okay, if Magnus wins this game too, maybe has a chance of getting a top placement, maybe winning Title Tuesday today, even after that defeat on game #2.
The cream always rises to the top, that's what they say. And Hikaru as well, after suffering a loss in round 4. He's been on a streak. He's kind of balanced out this position slightly better according to the eval bar, but now it's about mutual attacks.
I wanted to just shout h4, h5, h6. Is that what we're going to see? Because how does black stop it? Are they going to go h6 themselves, maybe?
Apparently not.
Probably not. But maybe you don't want to... Okay, yeah, he goes h6 all the way. And f4, he's playing so fast. Black barely has time to make a move.
That black king must not be feeling comfortable right now. Everything's coming at it.
I wish Savion could just place a bishop on c4. I wish that bishop could go to the light squares, but I suppose the bishop will have a good future later on as well, hopefully.
Maybe the other way as well, a bit later. Hikaru really wants to plant his knight in the center and just kind of block up the open file, then unleash his bishop again, somewhere on the diagonal. But will he get time? Savion could just keep advancing with his pawns. He brings his bishop out instead. Much, much better. It's like you said, Anna, like a pawn on this square is always like a bone in your throat. It's just uncomfortable. It's just so many checkmating patterns down the line.
The pawn on e5 and the pawn on h6, those are the key pawns, the pawns that make your soul happy when you're playing, I feel like.
As we're getting back to this, I just wanted to say after this game, we're going to make a bit of a studio switch here. I just wanted for viewers who do not know where to find you guys, Virtual. If someone wants to track your Trackmania progress and when you're streaming, where do they find you?
Of course, it's as you can see on screen, Virtual with a W on YouTube and Twitch. And yeah, streaming some Trackmania, also occasionally chess, but you will never see this level. So if you want to find that, you can go to Anna's channel.
But today, Virtual is actually going to play Magnus Carlsen for the very first time because Magnus is doing a simul after this. Magnus, he's going to keep on playing chess after Title Tuesday today. He's playing a simul, and we are both participating in that simul. So we're both going to be playing as Magnus Carlsen today.
What's your goal for today then, Virtual?
I mean, we all know what the outcome is going to be. The funny thing is I could study chess my entire life and we would know what the outcome is going to be. So my goal is going to be to have fun and enjoy the experience and see just how much pressure you feel playing a Grandmaster and even a Super Grandmaster, because I've never gotten to experience that. So.
But I've been looking at the comments today, and what a lot of people have noticed or taken stock of is how sharply you're dressed today. So you're dressed for the occasion, and I think you're going to...
Says you.
You're going to blend him.
I've been told that like when you show up to a chess tournament or like a serious chess match, you want to dress intelligently. You want like your opponent to think you're clever, you're smart. I don't think that's going to matter, but we're taking every edge we can get, aren't we?
Wise words there. Dress to impress. Dress to chess.
Dress to chess, yes. Yes. That should become a thing. Can we all just forever say that? Dress to chess.
Just like Hikaru.
Is he dressed to chess?
I mean, he absolutely is. Sevian, we can't really see what he's wearing right now. We only see his face. But Hikaru, I think so. I mean, chess is a new sport as well, right? So, definitely.
Yeah, he's wearing his American Gambits shirt in honor of his team out there at the Global Chess League in India, where he's playing right now. They had a tough day today, his team, but yeah, he's representing. And he's surviving in this position, I've got to say. He's still a bit worse, mainly due to the powerful pawn on h6, presenting some checkmating ideas. But I think he did a good job keeping the knights on the board. White's knight is a bit of a problem piece, can't move forward. Black's knight is a bit of a defender right now, holding the fort. If all the rooks and queens come off, then maybe Hikaru might be turning it around with the extra 30 seconds as well. And Sevian stepping forward, that's presented a nice square for the Black Knight a bit later.
For those of you who's been asking about the sounds in the background here, today we have a different Title Tuesday for those who just switched in. We're in Stockholm, where we're at the Lovable headquarters. There's a big chess party going on behind us. I mean, when I see a lot of chess players dancing behind me here, and I'm kind of thinking about that viral video that dropped the other day, where I saw that you were actually one of the people who they did a parody on, a very friendly parody, and your mom was also part of that video. How do you like chess taking part of the social culture and the way it is these days?
I absolutely love it. I mean, I think chess parties are incredible. I think parties where you play chess are incredible. It's amazing. So I'm just happy that more and more people are getting to see this world that we have known for many, many, many years. I mean, David, you've been in the chess world for so many years. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It's always been that way, but now more people get to see it, which is incredible. So yes, chess parties for sure. That should be a thing all over the world.
But I got to say, that video was funny, though.
It was so funny, especially when you know the player.
Yeah, exactly, because it was some of them were so extremely good as well. I mean, these are players that we hang out with so often, and just the fact that these nuances were picked up on, I thought it was amazing. I forgot to account Simon Plays Chess or something like that.
Simon Plays Chess. Shout out to him. Great acting, great everything. I will say some players were maybe more accurately represented than others, but still, it was very funny that my mother was part of this short as well. I need to show it to her.
But the couple of three who were really spot on were amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, for sure.
We got to go back to the board here, David. How's it looking for Sevian right now?
This has really turned around. The most important pawn has fallen. Hikaru getting the H-pawn off the board. Now the Black Knight has snacked on one pawn. It might even capture another, or at the very least return to defend its king. And he's just going to go into consolidation mode now, cement everything. Hikaru, there we see the knight defend, and there's just no way forward. The White Knight still cannot leap, and yeah, it just feels like the type of position that will eventually become an endgame. Hikaru will nurse his extra pawn advantage forward towards victory. Still got some questions to answer. The rook is undefended here, but it might just be moved if White steps forward with the pawn. And look at the White King, suddenly out of nowhere. That is the one under fire, the black pawns storming forward. And as long as he doesn't hang his rook, Hikaru, as long as he moves it off the back rank or just slides it away, he should be winning this game now.
Yeah, that's the danger, right? You get a pawn to h6, and it looks like a beautiful pawn, but it's also a little bit overextended, and it can become weaker later on, and that's what happened in this game.
And same for this pawn. It's about to fall off the board. It's doomed now. And Hikaru's done everything right. It's just so instructive how he and Magnus always keep a bit of time in the bank. It might look dodgy in the opening, might look even dodgier in the middle game, but come the end game, they're able to go up a gear, turn on the magic, and oh, the bar goes black. There's another pawn up for grabs in the center here with a knight fork incoming. Hikaru's going for that soon, but not yet. And he's opened up the white king in the process. 20 seconds away now, I think, from Sevian admitting defeat. He needs a stroke of luck.
Very tough result now for Magnus's hopes of winning this title Tuesday. He drew against Dmitry Andraikin, and that means that he falls 1.5 points behind the top possible score.
Yeah, Magnus not quite at his best yet. Still some time to go, but there we see Sam Sevian walk into a fork. Game over. Hikaru in striking distance, taking the win.
That means that we now have 3 players so far on 7 points. It's Grishuk, it's Abdusatorov, and it is Nakamura. Well, we're moving over to Bluebaum against Lazovic.
And here we see Denis Lazovic again with the white pieces, again in a dominating position here. The bishop controls the knight, the rook controls the passed pawn here. And unfortunately, Black's rook is found caught on the wrong side of that pawn. The knight is trying to jump around though, a bit tricky. But as soon as the threats end, White's pawn, again the h-pawn, going to march forward.
Yeah, it's just marching. And the knight, it's going to be difficult for the knight to stop all of those pawns right now. It's just marching. And the problem is that, well, White still has 2 more pawns to go.
Yeah, and even if the bishop gives himself up for that black pawn, White's 2 connected pawns on the other flank should win, but 5 seconds for White. Denis Lazovic is running out of time here. 4 seconds. Can he pre-move everything? He's got a pawn off the board. Black still has a rook left, so Denis Lazovic in huge trouble. He needs to get rid of Black's rook. The pre-moves, 2 seconds, 1 second. It gives a check, 1 second against 3. Can Denis Lazovic survive? Can he end the game here and now? The rook was on pre. He doesn't take the rook. Okay, Denis Lazovic is safe, but he's running out of time. So Denis Lazovic couldn't get the job done. It's a draw after Bluebaum flags Lazovic.
But it could have been a whole lot worse.
Wow.
I mean, he could have been flagged prior to getting rid of that rook.
Easily could have been worse. Like, getting rid of the rook was a lifesaver for him, but he could have won the game earlier. He was winning on the board. So I think mixed feelings. I think he's probably frustrated, Lazovic. He should have got the job done there.
Martin Rosian also making his way up to 7 out of 8 points. We're going to have a bit of a break as the players take 5 minutes before they get ready for the next one. And before, we're also going to make a bit of a studio switch here, but virtual and Anna, it's been such a pleasure having you guys here.
Thank you so much for having us. It's always really fun. I was going to say, I was rooting for Magnus today because he played the cow in the first round. I wanted him to win Title Tuesday and think that this is the way of always playing Title Tuesday. Maybe it's not going to be that way, but it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
Such a great pleasure to have you guys come join us. And thank you. And it's good to be on your home turf here in Stockholm, Anna.
Yes, it's amazing.
It's been fantastic. Let's hope for some great games in the last 3 rounds.
Yeah, best of luck in the civil. Take down Magnus. Do it.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
And now let's take a bit of a break and we will be right back.
Here we go.
Welcome back. We are getting our new guest back, or one we know from before, Isaac, who joined us, who's now created an app. But we also have the CTO, the Chief Technical Operator here at Lovable. This is Fabian. Thank you so much for joining the studio.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you also for hosting us for what is your new headquarters here in the middle of Stockholm. How much fun are you having these days, Fabian? I mean, being a part of a story like this and what you guys are building and how you guys are growing, is it scary or is it fun?
It's fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's definitely the most exciting thing I've done in my life. So I'm very happy to be here and do this, of course.
Do you play chess?
I was a bit into the community during COVID and everything. I think when it exploded on Twitch and online and so on. So I know a bit about it, but I'm not very good. So.
But how do you feel like what you guys are doing, the AI world and how you're creating, mashes up with chess? I mean, what can you offer? What can they offer each other?
It's funny. I think a lot of engineers working in our space, they tend to, some of them at least, have some background in chess and so on. So I think there's a lot of similarities in that if you're good at chess, you might be good at programming and the technical parts. I think broader than that, what we're doing affects everything in software. So I think there's a lot of fun ways to maybe evolve the game of chess and variants of it. And I've seen a few things happening kind of online with different game modes and so on. I see Isak here has as well done something chess related here on Lovable.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see that response, Isaac, and see what you've created. It was a chess boxing game, right?
That is correct. That is correct. So this was one of the suggestions from the chat. So basically you play chess, and then after a couple of moves, you box. So as we can see here on the screen, once we've played a couple of chess moves, we're now inside of a boxing game. And we can basically throw jabs and try to take our opponent down. We can, crouch and jump. And basically this was all built by Lovable during this break. So
45 minutes.
45 minutes. We built this entire thing, and we built it just by prompting. So we can see here that I've sent a couple of messages here into the chat, and Lovable has made a plan on how we can build this game. So I said a chess boxing app where you play moves between, and it's like an old school arcade game. And then Lovable builds out the logic and builds this chess engine that you can play on. And right now it's Purple's turn, and it follows all of the chess logic out of the box. And then I've iterated a bit more, and then I also uploaded some assets. I was struggling to find some assets, but eventually I managed to find some sprites which I can use in the game here that I upload to Lovable, and then Lovable utilizes them within the app. And then what I will do is I will publish this, and maybe we can link it in the description somewhere, and other people can give this a try at home.
Yeah, that'd be great if we could link that asset somehow through the chat, so those who are interested could check it out. That'd be fun. Absolutely. And here you see it. I mean, if someone wants to get a hold of it, but put that into the chat. I would love that, Isaac, because that would be great for people to actually get a chance to play. Do you want to play me afterwards, David?
Deal. We'll have a punch, whatever you call it. We'll have a boxing match, and that's incredible. Like 45 minutes, so I could actually create any game I wanted, anything. Like that's just blown my mind.
Yeah. Isaac, this was wonderful. Thank you so much for creating this game for us and also showing us what is possible to do. Now we're going to move our focus over to what is this Title Tuesday, Game Week 3. Who's going to win?
It's a great move because it's the cow opening. It's as if he just chickened out somehow.
He goes against everything that I stand for.
Wow. A check, a mate, it's coming. A new queen's being born, and there we see it. Arjun Erigaisi resigns.
With the Mickey Mouse sweater.
Magnus, who's just smiling. He doesn't see the evaluation bar, of course. He doesn't know that black is much better. There we go. The big shock has happened here in round 2.
Wow.
He leans back in devastation. He lets his clock run out. Game over.
Quite the exciting day here from Title Tuesday. Right now we have 4 players who's with 7 points. We are joined by Fabian, the CTO here at Lovable. I also have Grandmaster David Howell. What do you think about today's play so far?
It's been wild. As usual, as we come to expect from Title Tuesday, always a lot of surprises among the results. And the top dogs are rising to the top, but everything's still to play for.
Well, here's the matchups now. We have Nakamura against Abdusatorov, we have Grishuk against Martirosyan, and we have Magnus Carlsen against Bluebaum. Well, and Andraiking against Lazovic. I shouldn't forget about the 4th table here.
Exactly, and I would say with the last 3 rounds now after the second break, it is a bit of a sprint. It's almost must-win territory, especially for the players just below the leaders here. So for the likes of Magnus, he needs to start winning. These two, it feels like whoever does get the full point is going to be the favorite to take this week's Title Tuesday.
When it comes to chess, Fabian, I mean, you see a lot of these environments where a lot of good players get to play on each other, create something great because of what they see in their close environment. You guys are now competing against the entire Silicon Valley and all the tech hubs around the world still. You're located here in Stockholm. How do you attract the talent to be able to go into that, I'll call it an AI battle, because I guess that's what's going on.
Yeah, I think we almost have a unique position now in Europe where we're one of these companies that attract a lot of the European talent, and I think that's actually a big differentiator across the US companies who have, I would say, a harder time attracting talent from Europe. And I think a lot of people are waking up to the fact that Europe might be behind on some of things within tech and AI specifically. So there's actually a lot of, I would say, pride and a lot of people choosing to, hey, I want to actually do this from Europe.
Do you feel Sweden is doing a good job of making things available for you guys and actually helping you in well, I mean, creating what hopes to be a superpower?
I think, there's been these companies here in Sweden like Spotify and Klarna and so on that has imported a lot of talent. So I think that has created kind of a base for us to be able to build a strong technical team with a mix from people locally here in Stockholm, which wouldn't have been possible without these other companies that came before us. So that's a great asset for us.
How do you feel Hikaru has gotten out of this opening here, David?
Yeah, it's very early days. It's all maneuvering so far. We've seen 0 punches, jabs. Nobody's back is on the ropes here. It's just, very quiet start to this game. It feels like Hikaru just wants to stabilize, draw it out, maybe play on the clock a bit later.
I just have to ask Fabian some more questions here, because I think it is such an exciting time in the world right now with really the battle going on for positioning yourself in the AR market. I mean, it does seem like for every niche within artificial intelligence, there's going to be one winner at the end, that all the others are going to try to swallow each other somehow. Do you feel that competitive environment yourself, where you're really fighting just as much as you're trying to become a greater company, you're also fighting against your competitors?
There is definitely a lot of competition. There is nothing to say about that. I do think when you're running a company like this, you shouldn't focus too much on it. I think it's for some people, I think including myself, it's a motivator, right? You want to be you want to be a winner out there and make sure that your company not only survives but wins, right? And I do think we're in a space where things are moving extremely fast. There is a lot of value that didn't exist 2 or 3 years ago, and there's more space than what maybe some people would want to make it seem like to actually come in there and capture and provide value.
We're seeing Abdusattorov taking quite a bit of time here. Hikaru is also ahead in the evaluation, David.
Yeah, suddenly things have turned. Just in the last 3 or 4 moves for Nordebek, all 32 pieces were on the board. It looked dead level. Suddenly Nordebek exploded open the center, but it's backfired. That was a nasty check. It's actually been stopped, the Black Knight retreating. A knight on f8, there is no checkmate, as they say, but the rest of the position looking really passive for Black now. White's pieces are nicely centralized. White has a lot of space with the pawn pushing forward in the center. Black's pieces are pretty much all on the back rank, and although Hikaru has retreated there, his intentions are not peaceful. He wants to continue stepping forward with his pawns, blow open the Black King side, and it's looking tough now.
Already a draw with Lazovic and Andreikin. That was different color bishops at the end there. That was just extremely drawish for a long time until they started switching off. Magnus, he is in a great position against Bluebaum. We have then also Grishuk, who has about an equal position to Martirosyan after they have gotten things going.
Ooh, it looks like Magnus, Hikaru, they are the ones who are rising to the occasion now as we enter the closing stages of this tournament. Hikaru there, just keeping a pawn protected. The Black Queen had only one threat there, and that pawn has been covered. And he knows that the time advantage is already getting to critical proportions, 1 minute up on the clock. Black can't break out, that's the problem here. Nordebek, you see his body language, frowning. It's all going wrong for Black. Passive pieces make a position bad.
Let's see what Hikaru is saying. Nah, it still seems we have some technical problems with Hikaru Nakamura today, but it's ironic, isn't it? I mean, we have these tournaments, we have 400 of the best GMs in the world usually playing this tournament. Around game 10, 11, it always comes down to Hikaru and Magnus. Right now it's building towards that moment again.
I was about to ask. You asked me about competition. How does it look in the chess scene here? I know enough to know that Hikaru and Magnus are the two, maybe the strongest one, especially in faster clock speeds, right?
I think that is a good summary. And I mean, it's just so funny when you have these tournaments and a game that looks to be really, really objectively even from get-goes, and then still these two fight it out at the end, David.
Exactly. It's like one of my favorite films, The Usual Suspects. And yeah, it always seems to be those two. It's the experience and the confidence that sets them apart. And it feels like their destinies are just so linked at this point in all these big tournaments. Here we see one track mind from Hikaru Nakamura, his rooks, his queen, his bishop, soon the knight as well, all trained on one side of the board against the black king. The board is cut in half. The black queen is so far divorced from the action here, so far from being a useful defender, that it's hard to imagine black surviving in any world here. All Hikaru needs to do is add one last ingredient, whether it's a pawn stepping forward, whether, look at this, and rook sacrifice. This is decisive. King takes rook would be met by the white queen swooping up, check, winning the black rook next move, and black's defenses collapse. This is the clincher. Hikaru's going to win. No doubt about it anymore. Nodebek trying one last trick. The white queen can still come up the board. He's going to do the same thing, gives up his rook. He finds a different angle. This is a double attack. Nodebek leans back. He's going to resign. 2 pawns down. His king about to be checkmated. Hikaru, so calm and so smooth, gets the point.
Well, that leads us to the two exciting tables that are still playing. I mean, this is going to be a Magnus win. Just as I said that, Magnus wins. And that leads us to Grishuk against Martirosyan, because that is also really exciting now for the top. It's a lot of pieces on the board. It both have about 1.5 minutes on the clock. The 2 rooks and a queen for each player here. See the position.
Oh, this could go in any direction. The clock might have a huge part to play. Grishuk's position maybe slightly the more preferable, despite the level of material, just because he has 2 central pawns, which mean he can play on the right side, the left side. He's very flexible. Martirosyan, 20 seconds down. Also, the black rooks very passive, staring at their own pawns. This is such a different game. Magnus won in 21 moves, by the way. That's what we call a miniature in chess. This is the opposite. This is a marathon, as this one is going to go down to the last few seconds, surely. And
is this going to be a time scramble?
Yeah, I'm predicting Grishuk tries to win this on time, which is normally not what we're saying. We normally say Alexander Grishuk is the time trouble fiend. He's the one getting flagged. Not today. Martirosyan defending calmly. He's created a barrier. These 3 pawns stop the white king from trying to step forward. That's a good defensive technique. He's using the rook as well to just guard along the 5th rank. He's just saying, I'm going back and forth and back and forth. And how does white break through? And wow, Alexander Grishuk repeats the position 3 times. That was a draw, but he should have played on there. He could have kept the tension, tried to win on the clock.
All right, but this is interesting for the final standings. Right now we have 3 players on, oh, here we see it. 3 players on 7.5. We have Hikaru on 8. Magnus now must be dreaming that he gets to play Hikaru, because Magnus Carlsen, well, I was going to say he'll never win a tiebreaker, but it's actually ahead on tiebreaker against Martirosyan here. So I guess it's not too bad, even though it took an early loss. But hey, we got ourselves a battle at the end here. This is going to be exciting.
2 rounds, winner takes all. Hikaru, though, I think if he plays Magnus, he's going to do what he always does. Just play super solid, hope for Magnus to overpress. I think it might be now. Like, they're both due black. They both had the white pieces in this round. That is the one thing that might stop them facing each other right now.
Yep.
But it is normally the higher rated player. So Magnus is higher rated than Grishuk and Martirosyan. It's normally that one who floats up to kind of go into the higher score group. We'll see. I kind of want it. All the fans want it. We see it. The Lakers versus the Celtics. El Chessico. It might be now.
You can push a button to make it happen.
I wish I could. I wish I could. We could make an app for that, you know.
Let's do it.
Well, right now we're still waiting for the finish of the last games here. We have Artemiev, who seems to be pushing against Ashraf. Here we have Bortnik, who just beat Serrana. Bortnik, who's been doing a good job on the chessboard and good job with his streaming.
Yeah, beautiful final position, by the way. Deflection tactic. King takes rook is met by queen takes queen. Bortnik getting the win with white again. Deadly attack. And he's on 7.5 too. He's not out of it yet.
But I just love watching Bortnik. He's so laid back and he's so funny and he's so relaxed as he's playing these Title Tuesdays. He really manages to find his groove.
Yeah, every player has their preferences. I like my long games. Time to think. Bortnik loves the adrenaline. He loves impressing the fans. It gives him this extra energy. I remember playing him when he was like 10 years old on the Internet Chess Club back in the day. He is a beast.
But you said it earlier here, Fabian. I mean, when you're in your position, being a technical officer of a tech firm, which is it's quite competitive. You're fighting. It's almost though, even though you're growing so fast, you're fighting for your life in a sense every day. And do you think you have to have that same competitive aspect to do what you do?
we call it day zero. So, you know, we always come into work and we feel like it's the first day we're starting a new startup. Like, let's do everything we can do. And so, yeah, I think it's of vital importance that that everyone has this feeling carrying with them. And I think it's probably the same if you want to get here to the top in chess. You need to really have your whole heart into it and spend all the. I don't know what they do. They study chess in books or online nowadays, and they play a lot, right?
I mean. You have 99.9% of the players doing that all the time, perhaps except for Magnus, who used to do it for 100% of the time until he stopped. But look what we have. Magnus against Hikaru.
It happened.
Those two guys again. Magnus lost in round 2, Hikaru lost in round 4, but somehow they rise to the top and face each other. Magnus starting with B3. Let's see how this unfolds. It's exciting, that's for sure.
I'm going to open up Magnus's mic to hear what he has to say about the opening when he starts talking here.
Let's see what he does.
That's how Magnus plays chess. Let's see.
Magnus, by the way, is sitting about 13 meters behind us in...
I was going to go for the knight c3 stuff again. And then I just go knight d2 like an absolute moron.
Wow.
Do you agree with him?
Maybe I can get in quick e4 now.
I play this move too, so I can't fault it.
Unprotected.
Magnus, he put his knight on a different square in an earlier game, won really nicely.
There is no doubt about that.
Can you explain what he is so frustrated about?
Yeah, so essentially he's arguing that the white knight is passive on this square. He could have put it on a slightly more active square, more flexible square as well, but he just kind of moved without thinking. And he regrets it now. And the fact that he won a very, very nice game, nice checkmate earlier today against Jeffrey Zong with putting his knight out means that he had good memories there. He associates that with victory. I think psychologically, putting his knight on a slightly passive square doesn't change much, but it just puts him in a slight funk. Magnus is a perfectionist. He wants to kind of replicate that winning recipe, but not this game. Not this game. It's going to be different.
Great. Still a bit shook from basically mouse. The only reason why I'm going for this is that his bishop is a bit misplaced over here sometimes. So like knight d5 and castles, and I'm hoping that this one is out of play. Realistically, it's just pretty equal.
Yeah.
He's right though.
He knows that this position should be level according to the computer.
I'm gonna claim the easier to play card, which is what people do when they're writing opening books and so on. If there's no like objective advantage and you're probably a little bit worse, you just write easier to play.
Have you written a lot of chess opening theories like that?
I've read a lot. I haven't dared write them myself because I can't get away with it. Like something deep inside me says you have to be truthful about the position. Magnus is right though. All the books I grew up with, they say a lot of convincing stuff. They make every opening feel like they're forced wins. And of course, ultimately, if both sides play perfectly, it's just a level position. And Magnus was right. Easier to play because look at the evaluation bar. He's better suddenly. And that's because his queen, at some point in the near future, can come out, threaten checkmate. White's bishops are so much better than their counterparts on the two long diagonals. No big threats yet, but those will build. When the position opens up, those bishops are going to come to life, and Magnus is doing well on board and clock.
Knight a5 and then, or knight e5 and then c5, but c4 and it should always be good for me.
Wow, I wonder what Hikaru is thinking.
He's not going for some sort of b5, c5, then it's really hard for him to find active moves, I think.
This is the one Magnus is predicting.
I don't like it. c5, c4. Bishop f6 is possible now, but I go c4 regardless. And then what does he do? Knight b6, even cb.
It's really such insight when we get to hear the thought process of Magnus here.
Yeah, and he's calculating, like, he's just saying 2 or 3 moves, but he's looking deeper than that. We joked about it earlier, how deep do chess players look into the future. Magnus is looking maybe 3, 4 moves in advance, but in several different directions there, and he's stopping when he knows it's a position he can handle. There's no point looking 20 moves deep because, okay, the opponent has too many options. You look 2, 3 moves, and then you stop, you say, okay, I've got a beautiful knight, I've got rooks on the open lines, I've got a nice 3 versus 2 majority on one side, that's enough. And yeah, Magnus here with a big advantage now.
Got a nice little trick here. Rook d8, I got bishop to b7.
Oh, he said it. Bishop b7. Magnus wants to deflect the queen away from the back rank. If a check lands, that's going to be checkmate. And Magnus plays the trick.
Oh,
it doesn't quite work.
Bishop c2? No.
Ooh. Queen takes bishop would have been a checkmate there. This pawn is weak though.
Be strong here. No, bishop c6, and he doesn't have any good squares. So that looks very strong.
He just wants a pawn here, Magnus Carlsen. That would ultimately end the game. If he can take the pawn, swap off the queens, then white's a pawn will just walk forward towards promotion.
So this is not necessarily going to be easy.
But it's going to be fun. I mean, it's been an exciting game so far.
Exactly. It's going to be fun. Probably more fun for one of the 2 players, I would say. Hikaru, of course, he will fight. He's one of the best defenders in history. Hikaru Nakamura is so good at wiggling his way out of trouble, but a pawn is a pawn against Magnus, and that should be a very strong plan. Take the pawn, trade the queens, and hope that white's pawn will decide the game. It's like a 3-step plan here.
But it's so funny because you have so many of these players who take an early loss. Like we had Eric Geis who take an early loss, we never saw him again. Like, it's so often when Magnus or Hikaru takes an early loss, you see them there fighting for the win at the end, regardless.
Exactly, and there we see the queens are off the board. Magnus is so close now to getting the job done. This is an outside pass pawn. It's so hard to stop this one from running. As long as Magnus keeps everything else protected, he can even give away pawns on the other side of the board. That is why Hikaru has wisely stopped the advance of that pawn for now. But it's very much short term. Magnus can actually create a different pass pawn if he wants to. It's 3 versus 1. First, he opens up a path for his king to centralize. He gives his knight extra protection. He's doing this really, really slow and steady style, Magnus Carlsen. But it's effective. 2 minutes versus 1. He's winning.
I like how it's been renamed. It's no longer El Clasico, El Chessico. It's now Clash of the Dads.
Exactly. In a few years, it will be Clash of the Sons.
Probably true, isn't it?
Hikaru's son. And yeah, this is fascinating. There's lots of jokes that both their babies are already stronger than most of the viewers out there. But yeah, this one is a winning advantage now for Magnus. He takes a pawn. Once the knights do disappear, or maybe they don't even need to disappear yet, that is a clear run through. It's going to be touchdown. It's going to be a new queen, unless one of the black pieces gives itself up. And there we see Magnus Carlsen takes a win, leapfrogs Hikaru Nakamura.
So far, he's the only player with 8.5 points right now. We have Sam Sevian and Hikaru Nakamura at 8, but there's still a whole lot of games being played. One of them is Vladislav Artemyev, who is playing against Martirosyan. We have Grishuk against Bortnik right here. Here we are in Grishuk and Bortnik. Both with 7.5 points have a chance to equal with a win.
Ooh, we jump in at a critical moment. That's a nasty, nasty pin on this central file. White's pieces are lined up. There's all sorts of problems here. The white rook, okay, finds itself on a defended square. That's a good start for Bortnik, but the rook is now kicked back.
But it's not possible with 15 seconds, is it?
Oh, shouldn't be. That is the decisive factor, and there we go. The rook retreats. It's not defended anymore. The bishop could come in. No, added pressure now on the pinned piece. If the bishop retreats, we would see a rook trade. A rook trade here, and then the other rook coming in. We're going to see bishop takes pawn, overwhelming the white pieces. Rook for bishop advantage now. 8 seconds left, and Bortnik doesn't even try. He resigns. What a win for Grishuk, who might be facing the mighty Magnus next.
It does seem likely at the moment, doesn't it? Right now, we have 2 players on 8.5. We have 2 players here on 7.5, so that could equal up Artemyev and Martirosyan.
Oh, small advantage for Artemyev. If we do a quick count, black does have 2 extra pawns. Okay, he gives up one of them. He gives back his bishop there. It's suddenly level material. But Artemiev...
Magnus must be dreaming of a draw in this game right now.
Yeah, exactly. Artemiev's lost his advantage. That's the problem. He had 2 extra pawns, a little flurry of tactics. And now, if all the pawns disappear, draw. If knights disappear, draw. Rooks disappear, draw. Everything seems to be leading towards equality. There's just not enough material left on the board.
But is it enough time to get away with this? Can someone flag?
Or someone's going to have to win on time, I think, to decide this game. Ooh, rook takes pawn there would have been an immediate draw. We would have seen everything disappear from the board, some tactics. Maybe Martirosyan is the one who's trying to win. He's giving the checks. It's normally quicker and easier to play if you're the one delivering the checks, so the opponent doesn't know where to put their king. Martirosyan could have repeated there. He's the one trying to flag. But we see more pawns disappear. Artemiev, how much longer will he try? He gets the rooks off the board. Now all they need to do is remove the last remaining pawns and we will see a draw. I don't think either side can realistically play this on unless they're going to be ruthless about it. Wow, Martirosyan though with a bit more activity.
Well, I mean, both these players probably know that they need a win, right?
Clock goes red. Artemiev needs to get rid of the white pawn. He tries to get rid of his own pawn to deflect the white king. If the 2 pawns disappear, to draw, and there we go. He gives up his knight as well. Smile on the face of Artemiev. It is a draw.
That is a dream result for the 2 players ahead right now, because that means Grishuk and Magnus Carlsen have both 8.5 points. It would be very unlikely that they do not face off in a game 11.
Yeah, it's going to be a pure shootout now. Winner takes everything. Magnus against Grishuk, that's a pairing we've seen for years. When Magnus was kind of first breaking into the world elite, Grishuk was always in his way, actually stamping him down a few times, winning some games, so it's not going to be one-way traffic.
Well, it's one way to Magnus feel young, though, to play against Grishuk.
Exactly. Battle of the 80s versus the early 90s. Wow, the kid's still playing catch-up, it seems.
This is going to be really exciting. We get the matchup we're hoping for. It's Alexander Grishuk with the white pieces, Magnus Carlsen with the black pieces. What kind of game do you expect here?
Oof. Grishuk normally tries to make it as strategic as possible against Magnus, which actually kind of plays into Magnus' strengths, but also suits Grishuk's style. He's a very classical player, trained Russian School of Chess, all about principles, all about doing the right thing, not taking undue risk. And Magnus is going for the Sicilian defense, showing he wants to win and might need to win.
And let's just get back to the basics. This is the final game. The winner of this game will win this title Tuesday. This is all or nothing, a draw, and both of them could end up finding themselves even outside of the podium.
Exactly. The tie breaks will decide everything, and that's out of your own hands. Your destiny will be decided by your former opponents. The tie break is the sum of your opponent's score. So Magnus doesn't want to be relying on favors from elsewhere. He wants to get the job done. This one is what we call the King's Indian attack. King's Indian defense is more popular. That's with the black pieces here. It's just white keeping the piece on the board. Fianchetto, castle, and later he'll be trying to attack on the right flank.
Probably not think that long. It's a good start.
Making fun of his own time usage here, Magnus.
Already.
Kind of mixing systems here a little bit. Just trying to throw him off a little bit.
That's how Magnus plays.
Quite good in these King's Indian attack type of positions. Well, h4, h6, I don't think I particularly mind including that.
He wants to throw his opponent off. And Magnus, he's going to try and do that by delaying castling. He doesn't want to show his hand here, show his cards. He's going to pretend he's castling one way.
The thing is, I'm not castling immediately, so that e5, I'm trying to attack his center, probably bishop h6 to prevent d4. And then I want queen c7, and I'm just going all out on this square.
Which way is he going to castle? What do we think? Slide to the right, slide to the left. He's kept us guessing. He's kept Grishuk guessing. Oh, okay. Grishuk now thinks he's going the other side. He's getting ready to storm forward with the pawns.
Is that clever? He wants knight a3.
Ooh. It's like a guessing game. It's like which side is going to castle, which side is going to be attacked. The center is closed. Magnus will stop the white knight advancing now. The knight will therefore probably retreat, and it's a very closed block game here. All pieces still on the board.
But isn't this the kind of game where Grishuk can get himself into so much time trouble eventually?
Cannot say I love this position.
Especially,
he's
especially against Magnus.
Playing it in a more subtle way than I am.
Grishuk so far, like, strangely quick. He's normally down at 1 minute by now. And
fair enough. He's a very good positional player.
Exactly, positional player Alexander Grishuk. There we see playing on the left flank. Magnus is going to be forced to castle to the other side of the board.
Now that he's opening a bit up a bit over here, I think I should castle.
What a packed position. Such a tense one.
But I mean, how much can we pull from this Evo bar right now? It's saying much better, but in practical play, does it play much better for white?
Historically, it's very, very easy to play for white. There's a kind of known plan. At some point, the white bishop will move to defend the central pawn.
Positionally, this is very dubious.
Well, I guess he summarized it also.
Exactly.
Maybe he gives me a chance to break out. Here, a b5, ab, knight a7. This one is hanging.
Bobby Fischer was the one who made this line popular with the white pieces. It was always about getting the
white knight in.
At
least they changed the character of the position. I think he should not have allowed this.
The eval bar is saying that Magnus has a point here.
Yeah, it's not over, still a long time, and more importantly, he's turned around the tables on the clock. Alexander Grishuk is falling lower on time now, and that is a trend that might not be reversed anytime soon.
How hard is that when you realize you've... I mean, you may still be better, you may objectively have a good position, but
to get back here.
You feel that you've misstepped and that you've kind of given up an edge. Is that something that'll kill your time usage as well?
Yeah, definitely. It's very likely that the clock will be burned by both players. And there we see Magnus now going back with his knight. He's trying to win this pawn, at least create an outside pass pawn for himself. Grishuk takes the pawn himself on the center, and Magnus is going to be loving this. Magnus now has a safe king with pieces off the board. He doesn't have to worry about checkmate. And if he takes this pawn, suddenly he has a nice outpost for his own knight in the center. This is turning. Magnus getting squeezed according to our Twitch chat up there at the top of our screens, but I think that's old news. If Magnus gets one more move and plants his knight in the center, he would have been better. So Grishuk now pinning the knight to the rook. That is a very timely counterattack by Alexander Grishuk there. Oh, this is so tense though. Clock's level, position level. Oh.
Is it level or is it drawish?
Not drawish yet while the queens remain on. I think that's good news for Magnus. If he wants to win this with black, he's got enough juice left, especially with the outside pass pawn. You can imagine the queen centralizing and then that pawn starting to advance. His king is a bit safer here with black rather than the white king, which is open to checks on the diagonals. The pawn in the center overextended as well. Hard to defend. You can't defend it with the pawn. You would love to cement this pawn now, but the queen is vulnerable. Magnus slightly better for the first time in this game. I think Grishuk in big trouble. There's a huge threat as well of potential queen checks. The knight leaps forward. Watch out, you can't take this pawn yet. After queen trade, the white knight would step forward with a double attack with a fork. Okay, where to put the queen? Will Magnus give a check? Ask the white knight to pin itself. Grishuk says no, queen trade please. I'm expecting Magnus to say yes, but on his terms. He will want to replace it with a rook to maintain pressure on white's pawns. This is classic Magnus. It's an endgame. We know he's the master of those. And he's saying he's going to start pushing. That gesture from Magnus on the camera means he wants to start pushing this pawn. Rook behind. There we go. It's time. Not much stopping that one. White's rook is immobilized. Now the black king needs to get into the action somehow. The black bishop as well, a bit blunted. That one retreats. Oh, I can just feel the tension. It's close. It's somewhere between a black win and a draw. I don't think Grishuk is going to win this game. Magnus is playing with house money here. He shouldn't be playing with much risk at all. He tries to get his rook active now.
How is Grishuk in these kind of positions when he has to fight against a pushing Magnus and he's ticking down on the clock?
He's normally very good, Alexander Grishuk. He's got so much experience with no time. He was the original Alireza Firouzja. Time trouble, but then a demon when he's down beneath the 1 minute mark. That being said, Magnus is also the best player in the world in these types of situations. On the front foot, attacking. The rook is in now. The knight does hold the fort, but this is difficult. The white king just feels like it's nice and centralized, but also vulnerable to checkmates. The square covered for now by the white knight, but watch out. Grishuk can barely move. Oh, he's just having to go forward and back with his rook now and wait. Maybe Magnus can slowly but surely bring his king around and support his pawn. Knight takes pawn will always be met by other pawns dropping on the opposite flank. Oh, I have a feeling this is the clock. This is the clock. Magnus will try and milk it, prolong the fight as much as possible. He's always got juice in the tank. He's always got another gear, as our Twitch chat says there. Oh, he's threatening a nasty discovered check. The white rook acts as a blockader, therefore. Magnus going back around. There is a weak pawn on this side. I think he's got half an eye trained on that one. One pawn drops, his pride and joy. Did Magnus miss that? He pins the knight. The white king now can step back and defend. Oh, now the position is turning. Magnus trying to get that pawn, but blocked. I think Magnus missed this move. Maybe we can hear from him. He looks frustrated now. Oh, he's locked in. He wants to win on time. The advantage is gone, though.
It says a lot, though.
That says a lot. How to win this position. The black rook is so passive.
Gotta use every flagging muscle here.
Okay, Magnus is going to try and win on the clock. That's his only chance now. It's a 4 versus 4 rook endgame, no pass pawns.
I got the chance to play king g6 and I didn't take it. That is so amateurish.
Magnus not happy that he didn't drive the white king back. He's going back around for the pawns now, but he is actually down 1 pawn, 3 versus 2. White's pawns are weak. Can Grishuk keep his time on level footing here? 26 seconds. It's somewhere in the gray zone. It's somewhere between a flagging and a save. It's such an easy position to hold with white. You just need to do nothing. Bring the white rook back. Block checks. The players speed up. Oh, we hear the clicking of Magnus's mouse. That is just telling half the story here. Click, click. It's going to be a flagging battle. 14 versus 30.
Is there a chance? Is there a chance to flag in time?
I think so. The problem might be the 50 move rule. If
yeah,
you
that's
don't
what I'm
make
thinking.
50 moves without pushing a pawn or making a capture, the game is declared a draw automatically. Magnus has to time it right and then push his own pawn. Even if it's a bad move, just push it. Grishuk's under 10 seconds, the clock goes red. This is so cynical from Magnus Carlsen, but this is the only way to get the job done. He's not going to win on the board. 6 seconds for white. Grishuk's way too slow here. Magnus at 15 seconds. Magnus has blundered. He's actually caught himself in a checkmating pattern here. The white rook is going to trade off for the black rook. It's going to be a king and pawn endgame, winning for Grishuk. Magnus gets rid of a pawn just to survive. Grishuk with 1 second. Magnus just needs to not get checkmated. 0 seconds, he's running out of time. Magnus is about to win Title Tuesday. And there we see it. Magnus Carlsen wins the tournament. Stroke of luck, you might say, but he did what needed to be done on the clock.
If I don't do that. So I would have loved to win on good technique rather than dirty flagging, but it's the name of the game. We're playing.
And this is the definition of a dirty flag, isn't it?
Oh, that was brutal. I think Alexander Grishuk is going to be fuming. Glad we don't see him because there might have been a mouse being thrown there or a table being banged. But that's what you got to do. That's the new format in a nutshell.
And this is the sporting aspect of this format as well. I mean, when you have no extra time, you got a win is a win, right?
I was about to say, I think a lot of people think around chess and they think of it as this very like slow-paced game. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting here leaning forward and like seeing what's going on. The clock was down there at 0 for a point, and yeah, I think it's amazing what's happening with the game and how it's streamed like this. So I'm absolutely amazed by the games we saw just now.
Yeah, and I mean, I must admit, I love this format, and I love how it's making computer chess relevant. This is a format that is perfect for being played over a computer.
Exactly. Over the board, we've seen it multiple times, the attempts at this format, but then pieces go flying. Players get heated, they get angry, it becomes a bit of a mess, but online I would say it's clean. Alexander Grishuk probably disagrees, but that's the new normal.
But he's more of a traditionalist though, isn't he? Or, I mean, at least having been a little bit longer in the game.
Exactly, and we saw him, he was trying to play correct moves. He was actually trying to win that position towards the end on the clock, on the board, but unfortunately just a bit too slow.
That leads us to the final score here, with Magnus winning 9.5 points. We have Martrosian with 9, Sevian with 9. Sevian picks up more points there again.
Sevian, very impressive. That's good consistency. Impossible to win every tournament, of course, but a podium after winning last week, he's going to be happy. But the happiest man in the house, the happiest man in Stockholm, at least for now, is Magnus Carlsen.
And there's 2 players in the top 4 who just came from the freestyle tournament with Para Magsudlo and Magnus Carlsen, who both performed well here. Let's take a look now at the split 2 standings that we have after Magnus's win. He does just pass Sam Sevian with his 10 points. 2 out of 2 wins for the 2 that he's played, whereas Sevian has 1 win and he's picked up 5 and 4 points in the 2 other ones.
Yeah, very impressive. We have some early leaders in this split. A lot of names playing catch-up. I feel bad for Grisha. He was leading the tournament, or at least in the joint lead, for most of this week, and ultimately falling down the standings after that loss. But yeah, it's nice to see some familiar names. Hikaru there as well. Artemiev doing very well this week. Magsudlu, who had a tough time in South Africa. Just the fact that he fought back and did decently in this event, I think, will be a nice credit to him.
Let's take a look at the Champions Chess Tour standings right now and see how it's looking for qualification for the Esports World Cup in 2026. We have Magnus on top, not surprisingly. Hikaru secondly, that is not too surprising either. Ferusha, Lazovic, Serrana. Remember, a lot of these scores are going to change because there's going to be a lot of both spots and points offered from the Speed Chess Championship and the Global Championship. But the split 1, split 2, split 3, that's what's really going to decide the last who gets in at the end. I mean, if you do well here, if you got your name on this list in the top 12, you're in excellent position to qualify for one of the best events of the year.
Exactly. The Esports World Cup, even if you lose in the first round, get last place, is still over $50,000 as a prize. Magnus won it last year. He's already qualified for next year's event, which opens up another spot. If Hikaru Alireza make it through the Speed Chess Championship, more spots open up. So the Champions Chess Tour, Title Tuesday, gaining in importance. I can't reiterate that enough for everyone at home.
Fabian, CTO here at Lovable. I mean, you guys have a competitive work environment. You come into office every day and kind of see a lot of things happening. But how has it been to have a chess party at your office?
You know, I've been working all day, and I came down here and they asked me to go on here like with 2 minutes notice. I was like, sure. So I wasn't really sure of the format and everything, but I mean, I will say it's amazing to build this company from Stockholm here in Sweden, in Europe, and I also think it's amazing to collect all of this chess talent and have this streamed here from our office that we moved into Monday this week, I will add.
Wow, yeah, so this is really one of the inaugural happenings of the new office then?
Yeah, it's definitely the biggest happening in the office history since Monday.
I just got to make the viewers kind of realize where we are. We are in as much of the midst of Stockholm as possible. This is the absolute prime location of Stockholm, and it's 3 floors with amazing work environment. You guys must be having fun.
I mean, it's I think the most exciting time in history for being a software engineer, and we've somehow managed to find ourselves in the center of what is happening now. So yeah, it's very fun, and of course being joined by some of the greatest in their respective field.
And one of the greatest in his respective field, Magnus Carlsen, has joined us in the studio, and it didn't look like this might be the likely ending of the day when you lost game 2 today, Magnus.
No, it didn't. Then I was completely lost in, I think, game 4 or 5 as well. I mean, it was just a struggle. But then I managed to, I managed to find a little bit of strength in the last 3 rounds when I realized that I'm still in contention. And it felt to me that Hikaru was probably a bit tired with the time zone in India and also you know, other things happening, and so it didn't feel like he was playing that great, and so I thought I might have a chance against him, and I don't know why the pairing system gave me another game with White. I think I played 4 out of 5 games with White in the middle there, which was a nice surprise, but yeah, I managed to win a pretty clean game, which is a nice surprise.
Yeah, I was talking about winning clean games. I wouldn't say it was necessarily the cleanest game to finish it off today.
Yeah. So this is why you play 5-0, right? Because there are no freebies. Like you have to. you have to earn it. And the good thing about the position that we got eventually is that it's very hard to change the status quo. Like, he's actually a pawn up, but he cannot force a draw. So I can just move around, try and avoid a threefold repetition. And eventually, if he's not super fast, which he isn't, then I can flag. So yeah, it's not the prettiest part of the game. And I don't like always do it, but I feel like in the last round, like, this is not charity, right? Like, I'm trying to win the tournament, he's trying to win the tournament, and those are the means I had to do it with. And yeah, that's what happened.
We didn't have a camera on Grishuk as that game concluded. How do you think it looked?
Probably not too happy, I would guess. I wouldn't be in his shoes. Like, there's always this. There are certain people who don't want to flag some of the older guys, you know, who have had these distinguished careers, because, you know, you feel like it's a bit unfair. But I treat everybody equally. In that sense.
Magnus, I'm going to talk a little bit about us being here in Stockholm. You're a co-founder of Take. Lovable, as we're sitting here with the CTO of Lovable, has been such a partner with Take. And how does it feel to be here in Stockholm and play at these headquarters?
It feels good. It's been a little bit of a hectic day, so haven't been able to hang out much at all. Like, I basically flew in, and then a lot of things have happened. But yeah, I'm very happy with the partnership, and I think both companies are trying to go quite a bit in the same direction with new technology. So I think we're very good partners, and excited for the future.
And it is a fun way of being able to spin it, Fabian, isn't it? To have the world's prominent in what is essentially a different field within the same type of attributes that you guys are looking for.
I'm sorry, the question is
just the intellectual capacity, which is the joint idea behind chess and also behind what you are doing. It must be fun to be able to play among each other's strengths like that.
Yeah, no, I think it's amazing to see all of this talent being displayed here, and I think for Lovable, you know, a lot of what we're doing is also to let people that have a deep expertise in some kind of field, be it chess or whatever, to put those ideas that they have with reality, with our tool, where we kind of solve the software engineering part of what you would have needed. So, yeah.
By the way, if you want to play afterwards, Magnus, they created a chess boxing game as we were on air today. Sounds like something that could be very enjoyable.
Oh yeah. I mean, it sounds more enjoyable than doing chess boxing itself. So, why not?
Is Title Tuesday the most? I'm sorry, I was trying to pick up on something here right now that I wasn't quite getting. Just going back into the tournament today, winning Title Tuesdays, how good do you feel after that, Magnus?
It depends. If I feel like I've had a really nice, clean performance, then it feels really, really good. I know that every time I win one after not having won one in a while, it feels really, really good. And when I haven't won one in a while, it annoys the shit out of me when I when I come up short. I would say that this one is kind of a little bit in the middle. Like, it feels really good to win, but I also know that everything sort of fell perfectly into place for me to be able to do it. And I've won a few recently, but. You know, you're playing some of the best players in the world every week, and being able to pull them out, obviously it feels great.
And Magnus, earlier we had Anna Kramling and Virtual with us. They mentioned that they're going to be playing you in a simultaneous display where we've got other very special guests. I believe the CEO of Lovable, Anton, will also be playing you. What's your approach going to be? How hard are you going to go on your opponents?
I honestly forgot that I was playing in Simon. So I'll be trying to survive.
How tired are you? I need to know our chances here.
Well, one thing.
I don't know how good you guys are at chess. If you're
Not very
good, then you have a chance.
One thing's for sure, it's going to be a good time here. It's going to be a good time when we're back next Tuesday. It's yet another title Tuesday. David, you going to be bringing a Christmas weather on December 23rd?
Exactly. David Snowell will be there. Snow?
That is cute. That is really cute. I look forward to it. We're going to be back at 4:45 CET. But until then, enjoy your chess, and I'll see you again.
Magnus, who's just smiling. He doesn't see the evaluation bar, of course. He doesn't know that black is much better. There we go. The big shock has happened here in round 2.
Wow.
Oh, it swings. He wants checkmate. It's going to be game over. Bortnick runs out of time.
Didn't expect that, did you?
As the bishops threaten, Magnus gets the win. It is a blunder. That means something is winning now, and it's a big blunder. What is that all about? There we see Sam Sempian walk into a fork. Game over. Magnus is so close now to getting the job done. And there we see Magnus Carlsen takes a win, leapfrogs Hikaru Nakamura. Magnus has blundered. He's actually caught himself in a checkmating pattern here. He's running out of time. Magnus is about to win Title Tuesday. And there we see it. Magnus Carlsen wins the tournament.
Here we go.